Hey, I just noticed something. You can see our Christmas tree from the studio.
Oh, it's
Look
cute.
at that over behind me. Why isn't it on, though? I'm going to have to run out and turn the lights on.
It looks like a green screen because it's like white all around it, and then this
Yeah, it
perfect
is.
little tree. It's
It
so cute.
is. Except there's Santa sitting on the chair in front of it. You see the Santa pillow?
It looks like Santa's lounging.
Santa is lounging, taking it easy, no question about it. It's one of my favorite weeks of the years coming up. You get that Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the entire week off most people get. Then you get the New Year's Eve deal. It's a hell of a week.
Yeah, super
And I
fun.
still think that Jesus planned it because he knew it would be so damn cold in Minnesota. That's
Yeah.
why he was born on the day he was born.
I think
Thanks.
so.
Thanks, Jesus.
Yeah, way to go, Jesus. One of my favorite things. We went to dinner with him last night. Kath and I have a couple of friends, Joyce and Kenny. They live in New York now. She's originally from Minneapolis, and we were hanging out. It was such a thrill because she's a nice Jewish girl. Joyce is nice Jewish girl from Minneapolis, born on Christmas Day.
Ooh.
You think it's a little stressful for a Jew to be born on Christmas Day? I think that's phenomenal. But she claims to know Jesus personally because they were born on the same day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, either that or she is Jesus.
Maybe she is Jesus. See?
See?
There you go. So just a couple of things. Public trust in American media has plummeted since the 1990s. Most of its decline is among conservatives, spurred by... That's not true in the least. See, it already is bullshit. It's basically progressive. Well, although progressives are spread over about 5 stations and there's only one conservative station, Fox. Well, there's a couple of Newsmax and what's the other one? There's another one that's way over there. But it's most media is very liberal. There's no question about that. And I'm not blaming them. I blame all of them.
Yeah.
Spurred by Republican charges of liberal bias from avowedly nonpartisan outlets. Such claims are hard to assess fairly. Stories viewed by one party as following the facts are often seen by the other as ideological. Well, I'm sorry. Here's my argument with you right from jump. If you follow the facts, those are the facts. If they're the facts, they're the facts, are they not?
Yeah.
So how could you argue with something that is a fact?
I mean, I think we've learned that people can omit things or skew things or whatever. I mean, I feel like we find out different things about events, or I don't know. A news story, you can only have so much time. It's not like they have continuous time in some of these, and like articles they want to like edit to the point that it's like a half paragraph. So I don't know, choices are made.
You should always read it though, because they're lying to you every chance they get. I mean, you people really have to understand. I don't care who the media is, what the media is, and politicians, the media and politicians lie to you every chance they get. That is just a fact. It's not a personal opinion at all. We can run a few of them down if you want. There's no real reason to do that. But yeah, it's just more public estimates of news sources. Partisan leanings rely on subjective ratings. Political scientists seeking an objective approach have used the language in politician speeches to set a baseline and compare stories with that. However, most studies in this vein looked at the period before 2015. Oh, that's before Donald Trump. Boy, they love going after it. They blame everything on him, don't they? Do not discriminate between politics and other topics and focus either on TV or written journalism, but not both. This article I thought would be a lot more clear than it is. It's all an article about the media is as foggy as the rest of the media.
Yeah.
You mean the media wrote an article about themselves?
I know. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yeah, they didn't. Shocker.
Do you guys see, because I bounce around a bit. I watch some CNN and I watch some Fox and then I watch some, that's about it. Although those two, I don't believe a word any of them say. And you check in on what you'll watch one say, oh my God, it's the worst thing that ever happened. Trump is the worst thing that ever happened to the world. Change channel. Biden is the worst thing that ever happened to the world. It's like professional wrestling,
It's like Monday Night Raw and like WCW going head to head.
It's like everybody settle down. Why don't we And they don't want you to get along because we are much easier to control when we're not getting along. When we're angry, when we're all pissed off, we are much easier to control. I hope young people like you guys realize that. They did it to my generation, and they're now doing it to your generation, and it's all bullshit. And don't pay any attention to them. Like I said, I give it about 2 minutes to see if there's a big news story. And if they cover it properly, I watch the news story. If they don't, I just, whatever,
Yeah.
It's one of those deals you just can't believe. It's all about money. Once again, this is all about news media making money. It's all about politicians making money. It's disgusting. I told you this before. I have helped several people get elected in the state of Minnesota, whether it's governors or mayors or senators or, members of the House, whatever. And they have told me that the only reason I say that I helped them is because they told me my help is what got them over the top. So that was nice of them. But since being elected, not one of them ever talks to me anymore because they already got my help. So they don't need me anymore. Now they have to get somebody else's help. That's how people are now. They can use you and praise you all you want, but once they get to the top, they don't need you anymore. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then also not as surprising, and not that saying that you have ever done this, but if you're a media person that you felt like you helped somebody out along the way, and then there's some minor scandal, like as a politician, you can't be surprised when you get dragged through the mud when you have a misstep, when you treat people this way. You know what I mean? Like,
the politicians, you mean?
Yeah, the politicians. Like,
Yeah.
So if Tom, if you helped me, or if I helped Brittany, let's say, get to where she is, and then all of a sudden, she ghosts me and does something wrong, I might be a little bit quicker to be like, you know what, Brittany, screw you. I helped you out.
Yeah.
This is what you get for being mean to me.
No, it's absolutely right. They just have disappeared. I don't really. One of them is Dean Phillips. Dean Phillips asked to come on my family's podcast and asked me if I would endorse him. I said, well, I'd have to meet you first. I know some of your friends, and I like your friends, so I have to meet you first. Met him. He's a very pleasant guy. Guy gives me a hug goodbye. Haven't heard a word from him since. Isn't it just amazing? It's like, how can you be that phony? And it's all of them, not just him. It's all of these politicians. They are the phoniest human beings on earth. Don't you think?
100%.
And I don't know why. Why don't you just do your job and serve the people and make people's lives better? That'd be much nicer if you got off your ass and did your job instead of pocketing every dime you possibly. These people leave office. Some of them are billionaires when they leave office. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of politicians, they have the good heart of getting into it to represent the people and all that good stuff when they first get into politics. But then that attitude changes, and it's more about benefiting themselves and whatnot. And I think that's where you see a lot of the filibustering and all this other stuff. And it's like, this is the most no nonsense law. This benefits everybody. Why is this not going through with flying colors? Well, because all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, these lobbyist dollars and super PAC things that I need to get reelected, and it benefits them. But the average common person, I still need their vote. So I'm going to somehow play both sides, but really not. I don't know. It's so
it's a good description of what goes on. And again, it's not that I dislike them as people. It's just they're very phony, and I don't like phony people. I also don't like ass kissers, and that's the other part of it. They suck up to you when they need you, and then when they don't need you anymore, all that sucking up to you goes away. And I don't like that bullshit anyway. Don't come in here trying to suck up to me, pretending we're the best buddies in the world, because I got my side of the story, and we're not. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. I did find it interesting. There was a national story using a word that, and AJ and I talked about this before the show started this morning. Did you see what Ron DeSantis said?
Nope.
He said, if you come to this country, you're going to have to assimilate. Remember when I said that 25 years ago and they burned my voiceover career to the ground because I said that? Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I'm surprised you used that word.
It's a great word.
Yeah, it's associate. It's one of those words that's associated with so many other things that there's other words to use.
What's wrong with the word assimilate?
I think people associate it with really strong, get the heck out of here vibes.
Oh, you mean like the far left and far right does?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. Like tactically, you would use another word. That's all.
I just would not. I would use the proper word to assimilate. Every time I was talking with AJ about this morning. When I would go to a black friend's house, I would assimilate to what they wanted. I tried to fit in. Assimilation is all just trying to fit in, basically. If I go to a Jewish friend's house, same situation. We've been assimilating our whole lives. For some reason, somebody painted that word as evil or whatever. These people on the far right and the far left are disgusting pigs, and you need to stop listening to them. You really do.
Right.
They're horrible people.
And those are the people that ruin the word assimilation for you.
Yes.
Right. Because they'll be like, well, if you want to be in this country, you got to learn English and, whatever else. And then that's what they use for assimilation. Whereas in the form that you're using it isn't that same harsh tone.
Okay.
No.
In my defense, I've been trying to learn English this whole time.
Well, I understand it, but it's a total failure.
It is very hard.
Like Guten Tag is not an English word. Okay. You got it.
Whatever.
Sister. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a sports guy who cannot talk sports in my presence because I've had enough with these bullshit teams. The Vikings suck. Oh,
I'm gonna try and assimilate to the show right now, actually, by
get all pissed off,
shouting out obscenities about Minnesota sports teams. I feel like I spend about half of these Mondays trying to show you the glass half full version of what happened over the weekend. That was a great loss for the Vikings on Saturday. Because if they now lose their next 3 games, they have a chance at a top 10 draft pick, Tom.
Okay,
Let's
now,
go.
boy,
Top
that's
10
great
draft
news. Great news. But they'll F that up too.
They are historically, the Vikings are a gravitational pull toward 9 wins. And so they're gonna find a way to go 2-1. And they might still make the playoffs, but they'll get smoked in the first round. Yeah. That's kind of the since the 70s when they would get to the Super Bowl and get smoked. Like the last 40 years, it's get to the first round and get smoked, and they're definitely tracking for that type of a finish. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now please try to convince me that Cincinnati is a good enough team to score 24 points in the fourth quarter and the extra frame.
They are
24
not.
points.
Did you see those? So their quarterback, Jake Browning, he's the backup to Joe Burrow, who's been starting now the last month. Yep. So the Vikings had him for 2 years as a training camp backup quarterback behind Kirk Cousins, behind a couple other slappies, Sean Mannion. And this is like 2019, 2020. In fact, there was a night practice at training camp in 2020, the pandemic year. Yep. And all the other quarterbacks, like Kirk Cousins got COVID, and then the other 2 quarterbacks, the only quarterback available for this night practice was Jake Browning. He went out there, he saved the day in front of the fans, he's thrown around, and they cut him like 5 minutes later. So he's been harboring that for 3 years. This was his Super Bowl on Saturday, and he gets done daggering the Vikings in the fourth quarter and overtime, comes back to the bench, finds a camera, slams his helmet and says, "Should have never effing cut me," as he stares into the camera.
Which is so ridiculous. Like, we cut our 4th practice squad quarterback. Like, get over yourself, Jake Browning. Like, good for you getting a victory, but you're now back up on another team. We didn't really miss out on much.
It was his revenge game.
How can all 4 quarterbacks we've used this year be so horrible?
What do you mean all? Kirk Cousins was having a great season before he went down.
Mediocre in his best year.
I do agree with that largely, but yes.
It's true. He does not have what it takes to win. He just doesn't. He's a good quarterback. He's solid physically, but for some reason, he just cannot win big games.
Yeah,
I don't know.
His career is also, it's like you've got a franchise that has a gravitational pull toward 9 wins. Yeah. And then Kirk Cousins, who has his own gravitational pull toward 9 wins. And together, these 2 powerful forces of 9 wins football are coming together here. People, the other thing people are mad about is you watch some of the injured quarterbacks, like Joe Burrow's out for the season. He's on the sidelines with his team, with a headset. He's helping guys. Aaron Rodgers, since the day after his Achilles surgery, has been on the sidelines with a headset with the Jets, right? And yesterday during the game, Kirk Cousins put out a couple videos on social media of him playing with Legos with his kids during the Vikings game.
There you go.
And a lot of people are not happy about this. They'd like to see Kirk on the sidelines or just traveling with the team or just be more present.
What? Because he would have helped us win yesterday's game. That's what they think.
Well, maybe there's a piece of advice. Could he have offered a piece of advice to starting quarterback? Where's the commitment? Where's the commitment, Kirk? Yeah. Legos over playoff chase.
I will also say Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles like 4 months ago. Kirk did his 3 weeks ago.
Well, Aaron was there like the week after he tore his Achilles. I think he took 1 week to not travel, and then he's been on the sidelines for the last 2.5 months with his team. So we're just wait. We got 3 games left. Kirk, would love to see Kirk with a headset on the sidelines, helping some of these young quarterbers.
I hope he shows up to the next game and we just get blown out by 30 points.
He does Legos on the sidelines
with his kids.
Sure. There you go. Yeah, you can do it all.
Bring your Millennium Falcons.
Bring your kids to work. There you go.
I got to be honest with you. Last year I went into a restaurant and Kirk Cousins was in there with some. I don't know is he married? Is his wife, right?
Yeah. Was it Pizza Ranch?
No, it was not Pizza Ranch, but I heard he loved Pizza Ranch. That's what I've heard. I could not believe how skinny he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally, because what is he, about 6'2", something like that?
He's 6'1", 6'2".
6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, he's not it's not like Dante Culpepper walking into a restaurant from 20 years ago.
No. I was shocked at how thin his arms and legs are.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. So his backup, Nick Mullins is the fourth. He's technically the second quarterback, but because he was hurt when they needed backups, he's the fourth guy in line now. But and Nick Mullins, I think, is about the same size. You kind of watch him, and he's got that like confused look on his face and his helmet. He's like kind of the pursed lips, and he just threw a couple of the worst interceptions you've ever seen. But so you've seen Kirk in person, and Nick Mullins is about the same size.
Okay.
If you ranked every quarterback in the NFL based on how athletically daunting do they look to tackle, those guys would be like pretty close to the bottom, right?
Yes. Oh, no doubt.
So the Vikings, with the game on the line, got to convert a 3rd down in inches and then a 4th down in inches, decide, okay, and quarterback sneaks are generally a high percentage play, but you got to keep in mind who's sneaking it. So they try this tush push play now that the Eagles have made famous. We're going to line up our quarterback and we're going to have someone push him from behind, and all that momentum is going to go forward for a 1st down. So again, you've got small, non-athletic quarterback. We're going to need someone to give him a good push, right?
Right, you would think.
They go to 5'8", 175-pound receiver Brandon Powell to do the pushing.
Yep.
He's smaller than I am, for God's sake. They literally could have said, Phil Mackey, get out there and give a good shove to Nick Mullins and see what happens. And it failed, predictably.
Well, the most important thing we have to say about that play is they actually lost about a half a yard.
Yeah.
If you're going to tush push, you find the biggest tush to help you push.
Absolutely.
It makes no sense whatsoever. KOC, that's probably the biggest questionable call I've seen him make this year. Like, what are we bad?
Is KOC the head coach? It was a Kevlar or something. What is it?
Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah, we're abbreviating his name because if you say Kevin O'Connell every time, like when you're mad and you're ranting, you need something quick to get to the powerful words.
Then here's what I would do with you with their horseshit record. I go, what a cock that guy is. KOC. Yeah. Well, no, if you're going to shorten it up, keep moving. Go all the way.
And when the Vikings are playing well, you can have, your T-shirts can be rock out with your cock out.
See,
could go either way.
That's absolutely right. It's different spelling. It means something totally different.
It does. It's a football term.
I actually watched the entire game on Saturday. I hadn't watched the previous 2 games at all. Watched the entire game because I said, there's no way they can lose to this horrible club in Cincinnati. Well, they did everything they possibly could to lose that game. How do you give up 3 straight touchdowns to a team that didn't score at all in the first 3 quarters?
Well, and even worse for the Vikings defense, the Vikings defense hadn't allowed a touchdown in a month. They had the longest streak of time of possession by the opponent of any team in the NFL without allowing a touchdown. Going into the 4th quarter, you're like, how bad can this really be? Maybe they score 1 touchdown, but not 24 points over 4th quarter and overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, all of the goodwill that was felt going into that game. Okay, here we go. Is out the window now.
Well, guess how many games I'll be watching the rest of the year? That would be zero.
If they make a miraculous run and they go to the NFC Championship game, don't ask to get back on the bandwagon, you fair weather fan.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
We'll shut the door in your face when you try to get back on that Vikings bandwagon.
Tom. Oh, I have a cardigan ready to go. So my Viking cardigan is ready it's half zipped, ready to go, Phil. I will be on that bandwagon.
What are you, 90? You have a Vikings cardigan?
Exactly.
It's so cute.
Go Vikings! Yes, I love the Vikings.
There you have it. No, I just I've been a Viking fan, like I said, since I was about 15 years old for many, many years. They've never even come close to winning a Super Bowl. They've been in 4, but never came close to winning one of them. The team sucks, and it's never been any good. I'm sorry. They've never been any good. They've been okay at best.
You will enjoy during the holiday week. So sometime, I wish I had an exact date, but sometime between like Christmas and New Year's, we are going to be posting. So we do pie charts of blame and pie charts of praise on Purple Daily. So when the Vikings lose, like today, Chef Judd is going to take that loss and divvy up percentages of who's to blame, right? Like a 100% pie chart. So we've now started going back historically and doing historical pie charts of blame for Vikings games. So we did the first Super Bowl loss. We recorded this last week, and we're going to post this on the Purple Daily podcast feed and YouTube channel. So we went back to 1970. We watched that game, the full broadcast with I'm trying to think, I think it was Pat Summerall and who was the I can't remember who the other guy was, but we found the grainy video, and it'll be therapeutic for those of you who feel like the 70s were this dark chapter in your lives as sports fans. We are going to go back and pick at those scabs therapeutically for you.
I heard that segment. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, I'm good.
Oh no, I say all I heard that segment, Phil, was that you didn't get enough shame and disappointment on Saturday, so you had to double dip and go back to the 70s to get a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a sadistic thing, but definitely check it out.
Look, in all honesty, I love the Vikings. I've been a huge fan my whole life, but when I'm pissed off, I hate you Vikings. I'm just telling you flat out.
Yeah, that's fair.
I go from love to hate. There's no in between.
Yeah. I did see on a positive sports note for you, Tom. I know the Twins are your number one team. And I did see a graphic, I think it was from ESPN, that showed all the money being spent in free agency so far this offseason. They ranked all the teams, like the Dodgers just spent $700 million on Shohei Ohtani and all these. Mm-hmm. The Twins, free agency has been in effect for 6 weeks now in baseball. The Twins have spent $0 on free agents.
Not a dollar.
But they've lost 5 free agents to other teams. So got to find a way to maybe spend $5 on somebody here.
What's interesting is they announced at the end of the year last year, basically that's what they were going to do. They're just going to let everybody go and not pick up anybody new.
Why would you announce it, by the way? Why would you come out and say, okay, hey, thank you guys so much. This is the best season we've had in 20 years. By the way, we're going to be stripping the payroll down. So enjoy Twins Fest. We're going to make some announcements. Who's going to show up at Twins Fest in a couple months? Like, could you, if they just said nothing, and we could just, leave it up to our own conclusions and kind of figure it out in February. Wait, they haven't spent any money yet. But when they announce it in advance, it's just setting themselves up.
Yeah, no question about it. Ohtani, speaking of him, by the way, genius of a young man, signs a $700 million contract. He's going to take $2 million a year in income. The rest is going to go into bank. But what people don't realize, well, how's he going to get by on only $2 million a year? Which obviously he could. The interest on what he's deposited is about $42 million a year.
Yeah.
That's just the interest.
All the endorsement money, too, that he's getting. He became, I think, like New Balance was looking to make their brand cool again after 20 years. And so, they paid Shohei Ohtani a boatload of money to make their brand cool. And so he's probably making $50 to $100 million a year just in endorsement money the next 10 years. He'll be fine. He'll be fine financially.
How old is he? 26?
26, I believe.
26.
29.
29, really?
29?
29. You're thinking of Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
He's 26.
He's 26, yes.
Okay.
Don't try to show off your speaking Japanese, by the way. Big shot.
That's just a name.
Never
AJ just
mind.
made that up, actually.
Yeah, he did. He just made it up as he went along. But in any case, yes, I will be a Viking fan, not for the rest of this year. That team absolutely sucks, and they need to make some huge changes, maybe as far as the head coach even. He shows me nothing.
Oh, I love this. Firing. This is Tom just coming out, firing the coach. This is great.
Get rid of him. Let's go.
Get his ass out of here.
How the hell do you allow 24 points in the fourth quarter and the extra frame? How do you even do that?
The NFL should do so that coach. I would say like 6 or 7 head coaches get fired, or like 5 or 6 every year. Mm-hmm. The NFL is great about making benign things into primetime events. Like, hey, it's the schedule is coming out. Let's do a primetime release. And you know what they should do the day after the season, the Black Monday they call it. They should have like live cameras inside the offices where you're watching like, all right, all the coaches are going in for their end of the season meetings. Who's going to get that pink slip? Live tonight on NFL Network at 7:00.
Love it. No question. Look, like I said, I'm a big Viking fan. Twins are my number one team. There's no question. I love baseball. Then the Vikings are not that far behind. They're behind the Twins, but not that far. But it's getting a little old after 62, 63 years, whatever it's been, and they still haven't won a championship in 63 years.
It's amazing. It is when they eventually do, and I say when, because it will. The Cubs won one after 108 years. Like it will happen at some point. Yep. It'll be so interesting to see what the city is like, what the celebration, what. Do we change? Is it going to be like Boston, where we roll off like 15 championships and we just become arrogant and we become insufferable? Do our personalities start to change when we start to win titles? I don't know.
I will just like to go on the record and say, if we ran off a Boston-like run, I will become the most insufferable person that anybody has ever met. Like I'm going to flip a cop car over in the streets. I'm going to be running around naked, shirtless. Like we're causing a scene if we win a Super Bowl.
And we're going to speak in Boston accents, too. It's going to be great. I parked my car by the harbor.
I love it. There's no question about it. Hey, how's she doing, by the way, with her electeds of color party? That was the mayor of Boston that did that.
Oh.
What a moron. Honest to God, what an absolute imbecile.
I did see that photo. Yeah.
Let's all try to get together. Nah, let's not do that. Let's piss everybody off we possibly can. These politicians are the most disgusting human beings on earth.
Even more disgusting than the Vikings defense?
No, the Vikings defense and offense both suck. So there you have it.
I got you.
We'll keep an eye on that. Oh, geez, I kept you overtime this morning. But thank you for your lengthy report.
It was therapeutic for everybody. Yeah.
Look, the only reason I get this upset is if I really love that team. And I do love the Vikings. Yes, the Twins more, but the Vikings. Every time you hear me say something like, those sons of bitches, I'll never watch them again, just shows you what a big fan I am. That's all I'm saying.
I'm done. And all of a sudden, noon on Saturday, he's like, okay.
There it is.
All right, I'll see what happens here.
All right, we'll keep an eye on
you guys on Friday.
Now, wait a second. You have to point out the fact that you will be the last sports voice of the year for us because it'll be just before Christmas weekend.
Wow, no pressure on me to bring
something
to the table on Friday.
I'm sure the Judd will be just wonderful, and then you have to come along and either make it better or ruin it.
Yeah, I'm planning on ruining it just to give you guys a heads up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Phil.
We'll see you Friday. Yep.
Great call, pal. We'll take a break. Be right back. Chris Egert will join us a couple of minutes, as a matter of fact. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful. Someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
Yeah! Now we're talking!
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw & Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
Well, would you look who isn't back quite yet, Tevin?
Normally he's so timely.
He's got that mental clock down, and he just didn't have it. Oh, but he's back now.
There he is.
There we go.
I thought we had 2 minutes there.
That one was only a 30-second promo, so that.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
No,
so
you would have been just fine. Had it been a normal break.
Well, you have to understand something too. I don't give a rat's ass about who's on mic and when they're on mic anyway. I've never been one of those guys. You have to be there, right? Who cares? It's a podcast. It's a radio show. Who gives a shit?
Exactly.
I'll be here when I want to be here. Damn it. I thought it was the fourth quarter of the podcast, so I started screwing up just like this team that I know.
Classic Vikings.
Oh, God, I'm telling you. All right, well, you better do this. I'm sorry. K&L Surplus and Ammo is your one-stop shop for all firearms-related products and is preferred choice among trap enthusiasts and waterfowl hunters for over 25 years. K&L is an authorized SKB shotgun dealer with a huge selection of youth models and has a huge selection of trap loads as well. Fall hunting is here. Head to K&L Surplus, stock up on waterfowl loads. K&L now has a lot of the calibers that have been hard to find in stock. K&L Surplus and Ammo is veteran-owned and offers first responder and veteran discounts. Check this out. Mention this show and receive a 10% off anything in the store. Anything in the store. K&L is also committed to safety and a licensed FFL retailer. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go to www.klgunstore.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. That number is 952-925-5608. I thought I was a professional TV announcer there for a second. Did you hear that?
You should do that for a living, Tom.
Yeah. Only did it, about 4 or 5 different times at Channel 5?
Yeah, over the course of how many years?
Oh, God, I think I started doing the voiceover. That's had to be 40 years ago, I bet. I bet that's the first time I did it.
You're showing a little promise.
I'm showing some promise. Eventually, I might get there. There's no question about it, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep putting in your time, and it'll pay off someday.
Indeed. You worked in Seattle, didn't you?
I did.
I thought so. I wanted to bring something up to you if I can take a minute of your time.
Absolutely. It's your time.
Very sweet thing happened yesterday. I'm still trying to track them down. But KISW, you know that radio station in Seattle, KISW?
Yeah.
BJ Shea is one of the morning guys on KISW, and he retired on Friday. Huge ratings. They kicked ass in Seattle forever. They're kind of like the Q of Seattle, that kind of deal. And in his goodbye, BJ Shea started talking about me and talking about how he actually, hey, Tevin, pay attention when I'm talking, okay? Don't be looking at your computer.
Taking notes so that way when I post a show.
Nice try. The reason I want you to pay attention is because I was going to say this to you. You ready?
Yep.
He referred to someone you know as the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Wow. Well, I mean, he's not wrong, right?
I didn't know BJ Shea knew Brittany. That's cool.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought I had no idea he knew who he was. But anyway, I got to reach out to him because I tried to just text the station that didn't work or whatever. But he talked about what inspired him was me talking to him about family, how excited I was to be working with my family 12 years ago on a podcast when it started 13 years ago, maybe it is now. But we need more people. And again, it's not just because he chose me to praise or whatever, but to look at other people and go, this person inspired me. Well, today, BJ Shea inspired me. So there's a nice balance there, you know?
Yeah, I think people get, and I don't know, all I know is this business anymore, but I think people get really weird and touchy in this business to like actually praise somebody else because their egos are so fragile that they can't, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, but the only reason I found out that he did it is Jay Philpott, who used to work for the Q in the Twin Cities. And then he spent a number of years on another one of the other stations. He now runs a bunch of Cumulus stuff in like Oshkosh, Wisconsin, like 5 stations or whatever.
Yeah.
But Jay sent me a message. I would have never known that BJ Shea did that, but Jay sent me a message. So thank you to Jay Philpott as well. It's nice. I guess the reason I'm even bringing this up, it's nice when people reach out and it's not always negative news.
Yeah, right. For sure.
And it was very sweet of both those people. There's no question about it. I like when people are happy for you instead of, oh, that son of a bitch.
It looks like it's up on their website too for what it's worth. His
is it? It's up on KISW?
Yeah. Yep. I just was checking that. So I heard somebody else had mentioned that too the other day. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. I had no idea. I would never have known unless Jay had told me.
I don't remember the context, but I remember this coming up before because I don't, as a former Seattle resident, I never even thought of like the actual call letters of the radio station. I just sort of knew what the radio station was. So that's why it jumped out at me. But
that makes sense. And the only reason I bring it up, first of all, it's quite an honor that he did it. It was very nice of him. But the fact that there are still some nice, positive people in the world, it's just nice to hear. Right?
I mean, other than the 3 people surrounding us right now, Tom, also
biggest disasters
really
I've ever
nice,
worked with in the history
positive
of the game.
people.
Is that what you're saying?
Grow up. Both you guys, just grow up.
Oh, Chris, grow up as you
I was just complimenting you.
It didn't feel like it. It felt like a negative. It felt like it felt grow up though.
It felt patronizing.
Yeah, like it felt like it wasn't true. I don't know.
Well, look in the mirror then for that one because I didn't make you feel that way. I was complimenting you guys.
If you're saying that I'm projecting, then okay, Brittany Arneson talking to Justin, because I don't like to be on this side of the argument. Thank you very much.
What argument was there? There was no argument. He gave you a compliment.
No, I know. I'm joking.
Well, keep working on the joking part of it.
I'm working on it.
Oh,
I'll be here all week.
Tom, I got to see Brittany and AJ at the old holiday party this last weekend, which was fun.
Well, Tevin, you didn't go?
Who looked nicer?
Was
Tevin, you weren't there, were you?
No, my invite, I think, got lost in the mail. I'm still waiting for the Hubbards to send that over my way. So thanks for bringing that up, guys.
I would have been there this weekend, but I was busy in a 3-day tropical storm. So I couldn't make it to the party because, my God. You ever been in a tropical storm? Because El Nino apparently is it's giving Minnesota better weather, right?
Yes.
Warmer weather.
Yes, and it could be a super Nino or some sort of thing I think they made up. I just heard the other day. Yeah, I used to live in Florida. I covered hurricanes. It's something, that's for sure. But the wind here is blowing it's like gusting up to 50 miles an hour here today. It's not nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because the East Coast is getting hammered too. The East Coast is getting hammered with high winds up. I think all the way from, the Carolinas all the way up there. Oh, it might have been through the Carolinas by now, but it's just hammering the East Coast.
They're talking like 4 to 6 inches of rain up in New York and Massachusetts and up there. Yeah. So that's crazy.
It is pretty amazing. It's 70 mile an hour winds in some cases. But El Nino, La Nina, is that when it's better? La Nina is better, but El Nino is worse. Is that how that goes?
It would make sense because the boy is worse.
Worse than the girl, yes. There's no question about it.
Tom, there's 2 things you missed out at the holiday party.
Okay.
One, the TV people won all the prizes, and
those drawings were absolutely rigged.
Rigged.
Way to go, Chris. Way to go.
We are prettier. We should win those things.
It's true.
God,
they made radio sit in like a side room because of our hideousness.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was front and center.
I know AJ was, and also
you were AJ. You were owning
but
it.
I'll tell you why AJ was, because his girlfriend is. This is the second thing you missed. You missed meeting AJ's girlfriend, who is purely lovely and cute and fun, and easily one of my favorite people I met that night.
Good job, AJ.
Hey, thanks. I was excited that I got to see Chris wearing a 1950s jazz crooner hat. That was my highlight.
Oh, really?
Chris looked good.
I'm the thing that I'm projecting here, because I wish I could pull off that look. I certainly couldn't. I would look like a hobo. Chris looked fantastic.
Chris looked
just
good.
dapper.
He leaned down at our table like, "Hey, Britt," and I was like, "I know that guy." I know.
Tommy, you ever wear the fun hat, Tom? You ever try to pull that off?
Only Superfly. I wore the Superfly hat.
Now
too.
you would look good in that, like full on Catman outfit,
Yes.
the whole bit.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's the one where Mr. Hubbard, when I walked in, I was wearing a Superfly hat and a long top coat. And he goes, "Merry Christmas, man." I love that about. He's always been very nice to me. Really, always has. I don't know why. Maybe he's keeping
because they spotted the talent. They knew.
No, I think it's arm's length. I'll be nice to him so he doesn't bother me.
There's also that probably.
It's probably both.
Smart.
No, that's a great party. I went to the first one. I was literally, I think, 19 years old, and it was at Town and Country at the time, the country club over there.
Yep.
It was just it was like being in heaven. What a great party. That's a great party. I'm assuming it was this year again, huh?
Yeah, Tom, it's fun because everybody gets really dressed up and you get to meet people that you normally don't run into. And it was absolutely insanely fun.
I'm glad to hear it.
In the cocktail hour before like the dinner and presentation, there were shrimp the size of my fist. It was insane.
Oh, now we're talking.
Insane.
Yeah, they were like the lobster. They were so big.
Yeah, and Tom, you missed it. Brittany and I kind of shared the same experience. I was standing around, talking to some people, sipping on a beer, and all of a sudden, at the corner of my eye, I see this guy like come over. It's like, AJ, good to see you. And it took me like 5 seconds to realize that it was Chris, because Chris, you were unrecognizable until I like put it together in my head that this is Chris Egert leaning over talking to me.
Maybe that's why my boss didn't talk to me.
Yeah. And honestly,
I love that take.
Chris was probably the most popular person there. I didn't see him one time. The god dang freaking TV people are just beautiful and hang out with each other, and us monsters just eat out of a trough.
Stop.
Oh, it's true. She's telling the truth, man.
We were all in the same place. Don't stop that martyrdom already.
Brittany walks up to Chris like, "Hey, Chris, how's it going?" And he's just, "Do I know you?"
He goes, "I'll have a vodka tonic, please." Oh,
yes.
Okay.
The one thing that maybe some people don't realize if they've only worked for the Hubbards their entire lives, which some people, that's true. I don't think they realize how strong this company really is. Most media companies in this country now have huge debt problems, and the Hubbards are not like that. They're
not having a party like that either. I can guarantee it. So
they're not. No, you're absolutely right.
My question, Chris and AJ and Brittany, who was the most intoxicated on-air talent, whether it was TV or radio, that probably is going to be having a hard conversation this morning?
Until you said on air, I was going to say it was the gentleman who did the worm on the stage after winning a raffle. But I'm not sure about on-air personalities.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I gave my drink tickets to because between me and Justin we had like 4, so I gave them to some people, which I think they were used pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think there was anybody who was like embarrassingly.
Damn, no scandals.
No, not really. Which a couple years ago, well, the first year I came back before right after I'd had my whole situation with my leg. Mm-hmm. So I was like there in a wheelchair. I was like a horrid, I was a monster. I don't remember which one, Lori or Julia, got on my lap and like straddled me in the wheelchair.
Ooh.
You're welcome from them.
That was
Like they're
a
gonna
thing
treat
that
you
happened.
like. First off, they always talk about how hot you are, and secondly, they're gonna treat you just the same. Wheelchair or not, sir. You're getting straddled by low.
You never lived, Tom, until you've been straddled by Lori and Julia.
I'll try to slog through the rest of my life with that missing. I'll try to get by. No, they're very nice to me. I don't know either one of them. I mean, to say hello, I do, but they've always been very pleasant.
Yeah.
What was the thing they were doing? They were giving away nipples or something about 20 years ago. What was that?
Yeah, they made fake nipples that
Fake
ended up
nipples,
on Sex in the City. That's how they got their start.
There you go. I remember them coming around to the show, getting me to try to sell nipples for them or something. They were very pleasant.
I have a pair in my closet.
Yeah, are they around anymore somewhere?
The fake nipples? They actually, well, they sold the company or they like changed, but then Kim Kardashian just put them same things in their tank tops this last year.
What a shock.
So like they're coming back, but yeah, just having like nipples hanging out of your shirt kind of vibe. Not out of your shirt, through your shirt.
Well, wow.
It's like, what do you need the fake nipples? Do you put them over your real nipples?
Yeah.
So why don't you just let your real nipples?
They're always erect, for lack of a better word.
Oh, okay.
And
like that's supposed to.
That's the cool look these
Very,
days.
that was a trending thing for a little while.
Well, this is good. We can close with this. You guys led me right into this. So Catherine and I were taking a walk a couple of days ago, and there was a young woman. She looked to be maybe about 25 years old, and she ran past us. She came up behind us, so I didn't see her coming. She went around us. She was incredibly skinny, like way over the top. She had been working out. She was a runner. I mean, honest God, that girl didn't have 1 ounce of body fat. I mean, her arms were about as big as my fingers, right? Legs, the whole deal. So as we're walking, I see her ahead. She starts coming back toward us, rail thin. I mean, rail thin, except she had 2 of the biggest titties I've ever seen in my life. You think those were natural?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I had a 4-day weekend, so I flew down to Florida, and I just thought it was a good use of my time.
That's probably you. Yeah, it was you. I forgot. Rail thin. Big old
you have to
giants.
get her Instagram handle.
Okay, Chris. You're gonna be pretend to be that guy now.
Investigative journalism
at its finest.
I can't make it a fair assessment unless I've seen what you're talking about.
Exactly. No doubt about it.
Well,
you're late.
Live on the scene.
I'll good to see you guys.
It's
always
so
a pleasure.
Have a good rest of your day. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot, Chris Egert. Ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh Arnold today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple seconds. Bob Sansevier will join us next. Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 offer. It's a value, man, no doubt about it. When you use code word Tom at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com, you know it worked for me. Great. It worked really well. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship. It has been clinically proven to break up plaque and improve blood flow to the penis. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word Tom at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you too. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129. And don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month. So call them right now, 9520-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, 0resminnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. 0-Res Carpet.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this, continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows. The original My Slippers and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. For a limited time, you can get the 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more. Nobody ever listens to me. I said no Italians on the show today. Didn't you hear me?
That was last week.
Right? It was last week. Yeah. Or something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevier Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. So, Sandy,
yes, sir.
We can talk sports, but it ain't going to be good.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What is worse? Would you rather have a coach who's a horseshit coach or a coach who chokes? Because Kevin O'Connell is one or the other.
There's no doubt about it. You're right.
He's either horseshit or he choked in overtime to call back-to-back plays. And it's not even the play. I mean, it works for the Eagles, the stupid, they call it tush-push, ass crash, whatever you want to call it. But it works for them because they've got a great center in Jason Kelce, and they put big guys to shove Jalen Hurts. You've got the tiniest center in the league, and you put the smallest player on the team, Brandon Powell, 5'7", 110 pounds. Well, maybe a few more pounds on that. But he's the guy pushing. How stupid is that? And you do it twice because you thought you got it the first time and you panicked too much to call a different play. And you got Ty Chandler, who's averaging 6 yards a carry.
Right.
Great game. Give him the ball.
I know. There's no question about Bob. It was just unbelievable. I think, well, he showed it today. Kevin O'Connell showed me he's got nothing. I'm sorry.
And you know what? Also, if you're going to do a play like that, how about putting in your backup quarterback who can run, right? Who actually can do something like that. I mean, Nick Mullins, not exactly a great guy with wheels or have that push, but the whole Brandon Powell thing makes no sense. You've got, Josh Oliver. You could put him there. You could put your CJ Ham, your fullback, to shove him. Get one of the big defensive linemen to give him a push. I don't get it. Why would you have a play to? And when they're practicing, didn't another coach or some player say, Coach, Brandon Powell's only 5'7", 160 pounds or whatever he is.
Right.
It made zero sense, and they deserve to. And by the way, let's back off of, we got to give our defensive coordinator a lot of money. Brian Flores, we better make him the highest paid assistant coach because we can't lose him. You were up 17-3. And his defense is what frittered away that lead. Even though, in fairness, after that double tush push, there was no way that they were not going to get a field goal. They had 25 yards to cover. They covered much more than that.
Right.
Pathetic performance.
Bob, I'm just telling you flat out that this team just doesn't have it again. I don't know why that, we got the Twins giving up 5 people, not picking up anybody. They're going to be terrible next year. I don't know, unless they can make some fantastic moves we don't know about. You got the Vikings, who still don't have it, gave up 24 points in the fourth quarter and the extra frame. 24 points, 3 straight touchdowns, as a matter of fact. How bad are you?
Killer instinct, no killer instinct. We talked about it early in the year. Got your foot on their throat, crushed their windpipe. They didn't. And this guy, again, it's off of this game, and there's other games too, but you hired a guy, he's young, they thought he'd be exciting. He was not the play caller with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. That was Sean McVay. Right. Yes, he was the offensive coordinator, but this is the price they pay, and it's a steep one.
Bob, they don't have an offense or a defense, and their special teams aren't that great either. They're okay.
I got to be honest. I'm surprised that, and I will say Flores, up until this fourth quarter and overtime, did do a marvel with that defense, because there's not a lot of talent there. But when they needed to do it, now they're still in the playoff hunt. They're the 6th seed right now, because the rest of the NFC sucks, other than the top teams.
Yeah, that's it. There's one good team in the NFC. I think you're absolutely right about that. But I did watch the whole game yesterday, Bob. Skipped 2 games. Wow. They sucked in both those games. I watched the entire game on Saturday. Well, it was a nationally televised game.
Yes. You must have been feeling pretty good going into the fourth quarter with that 17-3 lead.
Thought it was a lock. 17-3 lead. You got 1 quarter to go. You'd have to give up at least 24 points to lose this.
Well, and
God,
then
suck.
Jake Browning, who it's well known he was on the practice squad with under Zimmer, a couple of years. Then they cut him, right? And they tell him, stay at your hotel room. We're going to call you. He said he waited hours. Then his agent called and told him they ain't calling. And he said it's his words, the shittiest he's ever been treated. And he's been with a lot of teams where, that could have treated him worse, but the franchise treated him horribly.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's what motivates you, but a win like that feels extra special when you pull it off.
How do you give up 3 straight touchdowns, Bob, on a team that hadn't scored a touchdown in the first 3 quarters?
All right. Here's the other question to ask. Jamar Chase wasn't in there for all this. Yet, okay, he's out. Who's the next best wide receiver on that team? T. Higgins. Did they decide to cover him? He made, the play he made, that touchdown catch he made was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was.
You should have had an easier time without Jamar Chase out there and without Joe Burrow out there, and you still lost. And again, you had Ty Chandler. Why are you wasting time on a quarterback sneaker, a tush push, or the ass smash?
Chandler did look great in that game, by the way. He played a damn game. Well, he was over 100 yards, wasn't he?
Oh, God, a lot more. Yeah, well over.
Yeah,
now,
well over, yeah.
Also, Tom, I used the line a few weeks ago about Dobbs. Got to go back to the Godfather, Alexander Madison. You won't see him no more. He's done. I mean, he'll come in occasionally, but they better transition to Chandler. And if they don't, it tells you even more about this coaching staff.
It's shocked the hell out of me how you can give up that many points in 1 quarter, and then you go for it on 3rd and 4th down, and you lost a half a yard on 4th down.
Because he fumbled the ball.
He fumbled the ball. Exactly.
You got to have somebody who, if it's not the other quarterback, then put some beast there to get the ball. One of your big guys who've handled it. Where was Hawkinson? Why was he not being the one pushing?
Yeah.
Or let him take the snap? It's maddening, Tom. Maddening, I tell you.
It is maddening, Bob. What are we going to do?
What are you going to? And then you got these phony Cowboys yesterday. They got their ass shredded by the Buffalo Bills. It is, other than the Niners, because the Eagles have lost a few games in a row. They could lose it. I don't know if they'll lose to Seattle tonight. They might. But there's one good team in the NFC, and there's one very good team in the AFC. It's Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs still need to figure out their receiving core.
Yeah, that's a good point. Absolutely. I just, Bob, it's been my whole life, and it just, are the Vikings ever going to be good? Ever?
Probably not in your lifetime, my lifetime, or the lifetimes of our great grandchildren.
Never going to happen, huh?
Maybe that, maybe in 21, when we get to, what are we here? 2020, maybe in the 21 to 2200s.
Yeah, maybe. That's possible.
Then it'll be AI generated teams. Maybe then they could do it.
You got any good sports news, Bob? Anything good happen?
Well, Rick Carlisle called the Vikings one of the. This is an interesting quote, and I'm sure that Tevin, AJ, and Brittany have heard it. One of the best teams on the planet. Now, if he said it was the best team on the planet, that would be praise. One of the best teams on the planet. What, out of 15, out of 30, out of 10? What does that mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in the NBA, you should be one of the best teams on the planet. Just
Out
being
of
in the
all
league.
football teams on the planet, yeah. Comparing to that's like the Canadian teams are roped in there.
Yes, I'm sure he was including Girl Scout Troop 54's
Yes.
football team or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure that's
Beatrice at quarterback.
It's actually a slap. It's a backhanded slap. One of the best teams on the planet. Yeah, they should be. They're in the NBA. But again, they are playing well, and they're tied for the best record in the NBA. But again, it's early in the season. Let's see what happens when it comes to playoff time. That's what they should win. They shouldn't be facing a bad team then. But
you know what'll happen? Good team. If they're in the NBA, they should be one of the best teams on the planet, right?
Yeah. But you know what they'll wind up doing? Because Draymond Green is out indefinitely. They'll wind up drawing Golden State in the first round, and Green will be back.
Ooh.
And then, you'll have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson be launching those threes and knocking them down, and they'll wind up losing in the first round.
And then Draymond's just going to stab Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. He choked him out last time. He'll stab him this time.
Totally unprovoked. Just I hate the French so much. And then boom.
Well, then you know what? He gets some sympathy because a lot of people hate the French.
That's true.
That's kind of negative.
What's that?
My goodness. All right. Anything else big news in sports?
St. Thomas played Marquette, 7th ranked team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They took them down to the wire, lost by 5. I mean, that's pretty good for a team that was a D3 school.
Yeah.
Just a few years ago.
That's true.
And your Gophers getting ready for the big December 26th tilt in Detroit.
Ooh, in Detroit. Ooh, let's rush over there, shall we?
Oh, those poor kids.
What a joke.
It is a joke.
Isn't it like the bowling pin bowl or what's the name of it?
I have to stop. I want to call it the Quick Lube Bowl. It's the Quick Lane Bowl.
Quick Lane Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
So
wasn't there a Quick Lube company too at one point?
Yeah, absolutely there was.
Jiffy Lube.
Yeah, maybe I confused that.
No, there's Quick Lube too. There was a Quick Lube.
Okay.
No question about it. So what's Quick Lane? What is that? Is that a grocery store?
Oh, I think it's a lube place, isn't it?
Oh, that's a lube place
AJ,
too.
you on it?
I think I can tell you this without looking it up. I'm pretty sure it's like an auto parts company.
Oh, okay.
Where you can get oil.
Yes.
All right. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Well, Bob, we're going to just weep all day long about the horrible football team we have.
Well, it's, it didn't. Let me ask this. It happened Saturday. Did it soften it having that day between? You still, because what's frustrating if I were a Viking fan, and I'm not because I covered the team and I just could not root for them.
Mm-hmm.
I would be really upset, not with the team, with my coach. And I'm not saying fire him. There's people out there, fire Kevin O'Connell. They're not going to do that.
They're getting pretty close, though, because he's not done a good job.
But that was, I cannot recall a two-play, back-to-back sequence of plays in the history of this team, covering it since 1984, the Les Steckel era, ERROR, as I point out. I don't remember back-to-back plays that bad.
I agree. No, you're absolutely right. And again, the other three people on the show in a different, generation, basically, this has been the kind of suffering that I've been through for the past 63 years. Enough already.
But here's where there's a slight difference. Other than Steckel, you did not have inept coaching. Saturday was inept coaching.
No question, Bob. To give that many points up in the final tilt, are you kidding me? They did nothing right in the fourth quarter. Nothing.
It's how you did it.
Yeah.
After the third and one, he panicked. There's no other way to look at it. He panicked.
Yep.
There were a lot of prayers that were answered watching the game. There was a couple throws where Jake Browning just dropped back and absolutely just threw a wobbly duck up in the air that it was a 50-50 ball that they came down with. Like the defense, I mean, yeah, not a great look giving up 24 points, but it wasn't the most egregious thing to give up 24 points to a Bengals team whose offense coming into the season with Joe Burrow was looked at as one of the most prolific.
But they didn't have him, and they didn't have Jamar Chase, the two guys that made it prolific.
Then also our defense has been overperforming all year because we don't have the talent requisite of a top defense. So we're not expecting them to do much. I feel you can't have it both ways where you say this defense doesn't have the talent, but then how did they give up so many points to a Cincinnati Bengals team that has a lot of talent and firepower, even outside of Jamar Chase on their offense?
Tevin, we're going to drop you into the I make excuses when the Vikings.
It's not excuses. I think it's you got to be realistic when you see everything in totality of what's happened this year.
Well,
let me ask you a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Yep.
Very quick question. 3 touchdowns in a row is not inept.
No, it's not great, but also like it's not great, but also to say that we're just going to have another game where we don't give up a touchdown is very unrealistic as well.
I'm not talking about not giving up a touchdown. They gave up 3 in a row. That's impossible.
It's not the first time it's happened in the NFL. I mean, there's teams that have given up 70 points this year. So I mean, it's not fire everybody level of panic.
Yes,
this is what we expected without
But here's what it is. It's weep level of panic because you're going to weep that you're stuck with a coach unless he had an absolute – he needs to come out and say, I was really off my game. I had a brain fog, and I'm trying to clear it up. Something happened to me that day, and I don't know what. I think it was maybe bad soup for lunch. Or
there you go.
Something happened. I mean, you cannot excuse him for that play calling. It was abysmal.
Mm-hmm. If he comes out and blames that play calling on soup, I think I need him fired.
Well,
kidding me?
It's a possibility. You know one thing that's great about this, Bob?
What?
The younger generation still has all this hope.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Good luck to you.
It's not hope. It's just I'm not going to say the house is on fire after one game. When this season, nobody expected us to win the Super Bowl anyway.
One game, you're 7-7. And by the way, Tom, when he gets the BRH, those rat bastards been doing this to me my entire life.
Guaranteed he'll be right there where we are.
Because you were like that when you were young, right?
And no doubt about it. The Vikings were untouchable. They were the kings of the universe. No question.
But at least you had a good coach in Bud Grant.
Yeah. I didn't care for it too much when he gave the ball to Brent McClanahan instead of Chuck Foreman. But other than that,
okay, at least that was just one play. It wasn't back-to-back plays.
True.
That was one of the in terms of the stage, maybe the most boneheaded play the Vikings have ever had.
You know what I love? We have the Twins 2 World Series that you're about. In basketball, we have to go all the way back to the Minneapolis Lakers.
To George Mikan. Well, you had the Lynx.
It's been a while. Oh, the Lynx. Yeah, I forgot about that.
No, they were good.
All right. No, I'm not saying that they're not. I don't know why you said, they're good. It all works out.
Hey, all right. You know what I'm curious, very quickly, I'm curious about this because I saw there's a new bar that opened in town that is based around women's sports. Yes. I hope they do well. Apparently they got one in Oregon that does well. But, it's not like a bunch of guys are going to say, let's go and watch the, whatever game.
Where is it?
It's in, is it the Seward neighborhood? It used to be a bar. There was a bar there before, and now it's taken over, and it's AJ, just type in women's bar Minneapolis, if you don't mind.
I've sort of heard about this. I don't know too much info, but from my understanding, they're exclusively on TVs only playing women's sports.
I hope they do well.
I do too.
Yeah, it was where Tracy's Saloon was on Franklin Avenue.
Well, so it is in Seward then.
Yeah,
most likely.
It's been open in
that was the neighborhood.
Is it a bar of their own?
That's it?
Yep.
A bar of their own?
It's a long name.
Yeah, like a league of their own.
Yeah, exactly. Bar of their own. Kind of leaves people out, doesn't it? I mean, I'm kind of hurt that I'm not invited, but
I mean, you're invited. You're just going to have to watch women's basketball.
Oh, so you do get invited. Just watch women's basketball.
Or women's hockey.
Men can't get in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's open yet.
No, it opens in the spring of 2024.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Do they have any teams to root for? Is anybody doing anything? The Lynx doing well?
I mean, during basketball season, that'll probably be their busiest because women's college basketball is definitely spiked as far as national interest goes. And locally, we have a good Lynx team usually.
I mean, summer might be a little tough. You're
Yeah.
watching softball and
A lot
soccer.
of women's soccer.
Yeah. Which aren't
No doubt about it. All right, Bob, is that the entire report for the day?
That could do it for now.
I think it's magnificent. I like the fact that you and I sat and moped and everybody else has hope. So good for them. And I mean, that's seriously good for you. You have hope. That's good. Bob and I have no hope. We've been through it.
That's a good way to put it, Tom. You got hope and you got mope.
I would say less hope and more just calm and realistic.
We are calm and realistic. Your coach screwed it over. Okay, tell me, what is he then, Tevin? Is he a horseshit coach or did he choke?
He had one bad moment. But I would say when you look at overall what he has done we can't sit here and praise him for, Josh Dobbs. You see what Kevin O'Connell did? Oh my gosh, it's miraculous. And now all of a sudden he's the worst coach ever. It's kind of, I feel
there was no praising him for Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs was running the offense without his input.
Well,
he was doing
Kevin O'Connell was in his headset.
Oh, Kevin O'Connell took credit for being in his headset. Yeah. No, we don't know. This kid was freelancing in the first couple of games. If you let it continue, he might still be doing well. Yeah. He got put into a structure that did not work for him. Face it, Tevin, your coach was a dimwit on Saturday.
He made a bad call, but
two bad calls.
We'll see how he goes the rest of the week, I guess.
The rest of the week?
Yeah, the rest of up to this week, next week. Yeah, the rest of the weeks, we'll see.
Oh, they still have more games? I kind of just tuned them out completely. I didn't even realize it. Like I said, I'm still a Viking fan. It just pisses me off. You have to understand something, Tevin. After you've been through this your entire life since you were 9 years old, well, football is only 15 years old. I am sick to death of this team failing every single year. Every year they fall apart. And it's getting old after, 58 years.
If Kirk Cousins wouldn't have tore his Achilles, we would probably be 10-4 right now, and none of this would really.
Oh no, they'd be the best team in football.
I mean, we wouldn't have. If we had Kirk Cousins yesterday, we probably would have won. We would have most likely beat the Broncos with Kirk Cousins, and then what was the Bears where we lost 3-0?
Yep,
you'd be on a 50-game winning streak.
Oh, Bob's taking shots at you.
He did it with Josh Dobbs. Like, I think that's more than we could expect to have happened. Would be about 10-4, and everybody be this is the greatest ever.
You know what? I might reach out to the Hubbards and say, I've just decided 2024, no more sports on the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Forget it. I'm done suffering. What do you think?
Why not? Why the heck not? Now, Tom, okay, here, I'll leave with this. If I performed the way Kevin O'Connell did, and you asked me, your question is, Bob, tell us about the stores. Huh? That was him. That was him play calling in that sequence.
Bob, I just having you on the show brings joy to our hearts in pre-Christmas week. That's all we have to say to you. Oh, not Brittany, though.
I'm on the fence.
No question about it.
Yeah,
but you also have to realize something. There are two guys in one generation and three people in the other generation. And throughout history, generations have never agreed on anything. So it's kind of natural.
I think that AJ has more of an aged opinion like we do, even though he's a young guy. I think he understands that this is not going to get better. Tevin, he's still young and, impressionable.
I'm expecting them to not make the playoffs.
No.
But then they're also not going to have like a top 10 draft pick. So it's going to be a repeat next year. And
they could lose out and still make the playoffs in that conference.
That's true. They could.
It is true.
What happened to the NFL, for God's sake? About 90% of the teams are horrible.
A lot of parity. A lot of quarterbacks getting hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
There's like 12 of them that have gone down.
Yeah.
12? Really? I knew it was a lot, but I didn't know it was 12.
At least.
All right, Bob, get the hell off the show. You're nothing but stirring the pot.
See you later.
Thank you, Sandy. Always a pleasure, sir. Bob Sansevier Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant Personal Injury Lawyers, seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at Minnesota Personal Injury. That is Minnesota Personal Injury. We'll take a break and come back and try to figure out what else sucks in your life right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at TomBarnardShow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I've gotten a lot of messages from listeners wondering, and you have to answer this correctly, wondering how many people got hammered at the Hubbard Christmas party.
I think quite a few, right? I mean, I don't think anybody got like bad drunk, but there was like an after bar kind of situation. That seemed like a vibe that people went. I mean, I went home because my mom was watching Go-Go at my sister's house. So I was so excited to sleep in.
Oh, yeah.
But I think everyone got, a little tipsy.
I don't think anybody got like belligerent. It was like that. You loosened the belt up a little bit. Everybody got a little loosey-goosey. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was just, more casual, less professional feeling, which I think is good for a holiday party.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah, I don't think Hubbard's would tolerate somebody getting drunk at their Christmas party. I don't see that happening.
People were asking about you, Tom. They thought you were there.
I was going to be there, but I couldn't be there. I was too busy being in a tropical storm for 3 days where I couldn't move. It was wonderful.
That sounds delightful as well.
Oh, it was a thrill. There's no question about it. No doubt about that.
Just gets you in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, you get locked in. All right. You two might have to rush to Brittany's house and give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. This is not a headline that I made up.
She don't want mouth-to-mouth. AJ's beard out of her mouth.
Oh, that's cold.
I'm a prize.
What?
They act like they don't want to give me mouth to mouth, and they were like disgusted, and like I get it, like none of us should kiss, but like, come on.
What are you talking about?
Oh no, they acted disgusted. Like I'm not
disgusted.
Let me find my keys quick. Where'd they go?
Don't worry, Britt. You're quite fetching.
Thank you.
What is that thing on your finger?
Oh, it's that coffee cup. It has a
What's the
built-in ring.
coffee cup? Oh, you put and you get a ring on your finger. Look how cute that is. Okay, well, here's the headline. So Taylor Swift and her fans were booed at a Kansas City Chiefs football game, and it has sparked a whole lot of discourse. Boo, Taylor Swift. What do you think of that?
Of course she was. She was a opposing team's girlfriend. Like,
wasn't it a home game?
It was a home
No,
game.
they were at Gillette in Boston. Yeah.
Either way, she's getting booed. I think the honeymoon phase is officially over because rumor has it she's responsible for getting Al Michaels fired because one day he was asked about her and he was like, I'm not. Well, hold on. What was the exact quote? He said, I don't know, paying it. She was a sideshow and that he's not a Hollywood reporter. So
she's not out there getting people fired. She's not like, get him fired.
No, they think the Swiftie backlash led to them saying they want new
As a
voices.
Swiftie, didn't even know he said that. Promise you we're not following what.
Then?
I don't know.
Are you
That's a
even
great
a Swiftie
question.
then? Yeah.
I think that, well, if you know football and you know Boston, I don't think it's shocking that they booed Travis Kelce's girl. I mean, they boo all the time girlfriends or significant others of.
She could be Jesus Christ, and they would still boo her.
She was wearing Chiefs clothes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's shocking.
I think the bigger story here is that she has attended every single game except for the one where the Chiefs came to Minneapolis.
That's right.
Like, she's going to Green Bay, Wisconsin. She's going to Foxborough, Massachusetts.
You always do
she
this.
skips on Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah,
She did. She had a show at US Bank. The acoustics were terrible. She hates the building. She hates Minnesota.
Also, when she was flashed on screen, it said that she has a quote where she says Gillette Stadium, which is where the Patriots play, is the most joyful place on earth. So she was giving them a compliment and they still booed her. I hate
You
Taylor
guys are
Swift.
taking everything out of context. She said that they've got a giant picture of her when she performed at Gillette Stadium. She's like, she said that because of the performing there. Also, on top of it, a lot of times she doesn't go to things because of her tour schedule. She's done until February, and don't let me remind you where, because I don't want to hear about freaking... So she'll be in Tokyo. So Tom, some of these things are just let her attend her boyfriend's football game. Just let her go.
Didn't say anything about her not going to the game. I just said she got booed, and it does say at a Kansas City Chiefs football game, so I can understand why you thought it was in Kansas City. It was at their football game, but they were not the host. It was at Gillette. And by the way, Boston, I love Boston. I love Philadelphia, both great towns, but Boston's nowhere near as good at booing people as Philadelphia is.
Yeah.
The Eagles fans once booed Santa Claus, which I think is magnificent. They booed Santa Claus. Oh, well, no effect on you guys whatsoever.
I remember you telling us the Santa booing. That's intense.
Yeah,
it is
snowballs at him and everything. Yeah,
they did. Yeah, they even threw snowballs at Santa Claus. So there you have it. So, so she was booed at the Kansas City football game with Boston in Boston. Sparked a whole lot of discourse. What do they mean? Who put that story up here?
I did.
You did. So, what was the whole lot of discourse? They're just people bitching on social media or something.
Well, yeah, and then you'll get, people that, were bitching on social media because you get the football fans where they're like, we don't hate Taylor Swift, but we don't need to see her just because she's sitting in the press box, right? Like you're not showing everybody that's in a press box. It's just her. And they're like, we're just tired of seeing her. And then you get the Swiftie fans that'll show up at the games with signs that say like, I don't know anything about football, just here to see Taylor Swift. Or one guy flew in to whatever state he was like, flew all the way from Texas. Is Taylor Swift here type of thing?
Yep.
So people will make jokes. And so it's overall, I think just we're at the point of overexposure when it comes
and that's the NFL. Like the NFL has used her like a token to reach people that have never sat and watched a game. Like, and so for them, they think they're capitalizing on something and they're making her look like she's just sitting there being like, put the camera on me. She looked kind of annoyed. You could tell that last one because you could just see her she smiled quick at the camera and then was like, okay, time to move it. Like, let's be done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't make such a big deal of yourself then, and then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Well, the thing is, she's becoming an actual football fan, I feel like, because the first iterations, the first couple of weeks of this, it was like, oh, hey, you know, I'm going to cheer and blah, blah, blah. They showed a clip of her.
I think she dropped the F-bomb.
She goes, throw an effing flag. God.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
You know, she's getting into it. And I respect that.
And I don't know if she was a fan beforehand of like watching football.
No.
But yeah, it feels like she's kind of progressively learning the rules and understanding like, hey, it's okay to come into this stadium with, you know, 50,000 other people and just scream at somebody else just because they're on the other team.
It's okay to verbally abuse the referee. That's totally fine.
She did an interview for the Times People of the Year, and she said, hey, I wasn't into football at all, and I got involved in this whole world, and I feel like what a missed opportunity. I'm having so much fun. I mean, she's emotionally attached to this person, so how much fun is it to watch him? And I can relate. I didn't get into fantasy football till like 8 years ago, and now I'm obsessed. So like we all have those things that we didn't do. It's like pretty cool.
Right.
I don't know. It's fun. Let her cheer for her boyfriend.
One of the reasons that I love Boston so much is very evident in one of the pictures that were sent over to me. It's at the game in Boston, Kansas City playing Boston. And a guy is holding up a sign that says, "Go Taylor's boyfriend." Now that's funny. You guys don't see the humor in that?
Yeah, it's super funny.
I don't see anybody reacting like they thought that. I think that's hilarious. In other words, I don't even know who the hell you are, which is such a Boston thing to do.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it because that's good slander. It's also funny when there was some of this video going viral, Tom, like a couple weeks ago, and this little girl's wearing like a Chiefs shirt. And her mom's like, "Do you like football?" She's like, "I love football. I love football." She goes, "Who's your favorite player?" And she goes, "Taylor Swift." Like,
there you
that's
go.
That's where we're at.
Well, that she's probably a football player to that little girl. She probably thinks she's part of the team, so she's a football player.
Right? So
I guess. Is that thing going to last? Or do you think this whole relationship's going to blow up in about another 2 weeks?
I think it might last. I heard that they were dating secretly for a while before this whole thing even started. And so, yeah, it sounds more planned out in how they announce themselves to the world.
He's different than any of the men she's dated because a lot of times, well, the last one, Joe Alwyn, he was like, we have to stay away from the media. Like, we can't let the media see us. So they hid out a lot of the times. And he's corny and doesn't care about the camera. And has his podcast, has his eccentric clothes. He doesn't care. He will kiss her in front of a, what's that?
Who's Joe Alwyn?
Oh, it was her ex. And he was like, very like, we got to keep our love secret. And, it was during 2020. And then he was trying to be an actor. He's in terrible movies. And I think her fame bugged him. I think there's something about it was, he didn't like being kind of headlined as Taylor's boyfriend. And Travis Kelce doesn't care. He's been to 2 concerts. I mean, they're 3.5 hours long. One of them we went to in Brazil. He sings along. He's corny as all hell. And she's so corny. It's like they're so corny and fun. So I don't know if it's going to last, but I'll tell you this is like they are a fun couple to watch.
Yeah. And she's also the complete opposite of almost every girl that he's dated. Somebody went and put pictures of the girls he dated in his past and then her. And
he was ruthless in his most recent one prior to her.
Yeah, it's not. I'm very surprised that they ended up together.
Did you know about this, Brittany?
No, tell me.
Look, I mean, we'll just say his previous girlfriends are very well put together as far as aesthetically looking.
Well, I was going to say this is why I think it works because Taylor Swift is very self-sustaining, very self-driven. I feel like, especially with where she is in her career and everything like that. But it sounds like Travis Kelce and like the girlfriend that he had before Taylor Swift was like, I'm not paying for anything. You take care of your stuff, I'll take care of my stuff. We'll still date, but like, please don't ask me to pay for any of your bills. Please don't ask me to do any of this, blah, blah, blah. You're going to take care of yourself. I'll take care of myself. If we eventually want to move further into the relationship, sure, maybe. But right now, you got your stuff. I got my stuff.
Yeah.
So there was pretty strict boundaries, it sounds like. But the funniest thing that I saw last week was it was reported by a news outlet that he had a very special birthday dinner planned for those two to go to, and blah blah blah. And all the quote tweets and stuff that I've seen were like, wow, that Kansas City like Applebee's is gonna be popping.
Yeah. And you guys are familiar with the phrase like, once you go black, you can't go back. Travis Kelce went back. All his previous girlfriends were black supermodels for the most part.
Really?
Yeah, now he's dating Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. In further news this morning, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk say human population is not nearly big enough. If we had 1 trillion humans, we would have at any given time 1,000 Mozarts. We're doing, what's the world population right now? About 9 billion?
I think
it's more than that, is it not?
I thought it was right around there. I thought it was like 8.8 something.
So I think it's 8.5 to 9 billion, something like that. Most of them, of course,
8.1 billion right now.
8.1 billion, and most of them are in the Eastern Hemisphere. Correct? There's only how many billions living in the Western Hemisphere? A couple billion. Then they're like 6.5 billion over the Eastern Hemisphere.
Yes, but we pollute everything, so it evens out.
You've got 18.5% of that. This is according to a 2017 census, so we're a little dated here, but 18.5% of that's in China. 17.9% of that is in India. 4.3 in the U.S. 3.5 in Indonesia, and then it just gets smaller and smaller.
So basically, they're polluting the living piss out of the planet, and we get blamed for it. Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
They do. They pollute the hell out of everything. I mean, you think Russia, China, any of those people give a rat's ass about the environment?
Probably not. No. And even if they did, there's so many people that it's hard to control all that.
It's true.
That Elon Musk was the guy that we were quoting, right? Is that he's like using Mozart as an example of essential workers. And like, I love a good composer, but I'm not walking around in my day-to-day being like, God damn, I need no more Mozarts.
I'm not playing his 7th Symphony on the drive to work in the morning. No offense to Mozart. I want to hear something a little more up to and a little something more I can relate to, not piano riffs. And
I don't know. I used to listen to a lot of opera on the way to work when I used to drive to work in the old day.
Really?
Oh, I love opera. I'm a huge fan. Maybe that's because I'm Catholic. Well, I shouldn't mention I'm Catholic because we're all devils now too.
But like,
apparently they've thrown the Catholics in with the Jews. They hate us all, apparently.
There you go. I just mean like your example probably should have been more like people to cure cancer. Like, and again, I love a good composer. Great. No, nothing wrong with Mozart. But like,
I think that shows how out of touch those two guys are. It's
like to him,
they're thinking more people means more luxury rather than in reality. And maybe this is my viewpoint of it. And so please share if I'm wrong. But coming from these two guys that says we need more people for our giant corporations that we run so that we be more profitable. Like Amazon has a lot of workers. They're that's my viewpoint, probably where these guys are coming from.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the whole quote was when he said this, but I assume he meant just like more people that are brilliant at what they do type of thing, regardless of what field it is, and probably just use threw Mozart out there. But yeah, it is weird to go, do you guys love Mozart? You could have 1,000 of him, but you also get like 20,000 less talented Mozarts that are going to clog up all of the your route to get to Mozart.
For every one Mozart, you have 20,000 serial killers. Yeah. Like, what's the ratio there?
Yep.
The actual quote is Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk say, human population not nearly big enough. We need 1 trillion humans. 1 trillion.
I understand where they're coming from because then that's 1 trillion people that are now using Amazon and all of their products.
That's exactly what this is all about.
Yeah, half of those are drivers and the other half are consumers.
Yes.
We need more humans. That's a message from two of the world's richest billionaires, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. While the two compete in the space business, Bezos owns Blue Origin, while Musk has SpaceX. They agree on certain aspects of humanity's future. I think a lot of these endeavors were very like-minded, Bezos said in an episode of the Lex Friedman podcast earlier this week. He added, I don't really know Elon very well, but he said that he liked the idea of forming a friendship with him. Asked what he had hoped for in humanity's future in outer space, hundreds or thousands of years from now, he replied, I would love to see, 1 trillion human beings living in the solar system. Oh, so it wasn't just on Earth, it was in the solar system.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. If we had 1 trillion humans, we would have at any given time 1,000 Mozarts, 1,000 Einsteins. Our solar system would be full of life and intelligence and energy. You know what they always leave out? Yeah, okay, so we'd have 1,000 Einsteins and 1,000 Mozarts, but we'd have almost 1 trillion absolute imbeciles who destroy the planet. Why do they not bring that part up?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's like AJ said, like also serial killers. Also, there's not just like exclusively Mozarts. There's also Brittany Arneson's just doing no take or ad, just existing.
Everybody's played the lottery. Only really one person wins it, and the odds are so small. Everybody else that gets that ticket that doesn't win, that's the non-essential people. That's the non-Mozarts. That's the non-Einsteins. It's the ratio. I don't think. I don't know. It's a weird conversation that these two were trying to start.
Well, it's a good thing they cleared it up and said in the solar system, not just on Earth, because 1 trillion people on Earth, the planet would last about 10 minutes. So he's talking about the whole solar system, which does help, but it's a bullshit argument anyway. These are the 2 richest people on Earth, basically, are they not?
Something like that, yeah.
And if there were 1 trillion and we had to go to other planets, who's making the money? I don't know. Maybe the 2 guys with space programs that can shut everybody up.
Yeah, right.
Well, this is all about money. There's no question about that.
That's funny.
But you know what would be kind of sad?
What's that?
Hey, how's your radio show doing? Well, it's not doing that great. We've only got 15 billion listeners. And with 1 trillion people in the solar system, we should have more. You can't win.
It's like a 1 share.
You got a 1 share with 1 billion listeners.
We've got an 8th share on that 6th ring of Jupiter, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a ridiculous. I don't understand why they even printed this story. It's a ridiculous argument. 1 trillion human beings in the solar system. How many years are we away from that? About 50, 100?
I think I will be long gone before any attempt at going into the stratosphere is going to be made.
I would think so. Yeah, I would think that's probably true. Why do you think it is? I suppose, they've made so much money, $225 billion or whatever it is, the high number again. But I suppose if you've conquered the Earth like that, you do want to go out in the solar system and start making some money out there too, don't you?
I think it's like the concept of when people feel like their lives are too easy, or I don't know, the next frontier kind of vibe. Because it's why I have no bone in my body. I'm like trying to figure out how to keep my closet clean, and make sure what's dirty, what's clean in Gogo's room. So it's like, I just feel like these people go, I want to take on something else. They're just goes, this is unnecessary.
I understand. I do not understand this. How in the hell did the president's motorcade get hit by a car?
That's not the one you want, is it?
What the hell? How did that even happen?
Okay, so I thought about this a little bit this morning. I read this article. I thought of you, Tom. I feel like, first off, it's very vague. They're not saying it's the car he was in. So I feel like it's kind of weird that more motorcades aren't getting hit. Because if you think of how many vehicles are in the motorcade and they drive crazy and they act like they own the roads, I'm actually surprised this article doesn't come up more often.
Why don't they block traffic like they used to?
I'm sure they do, but if you're living your life and don't know that there's a motorcade coming through, I bet you there's a chance that could happen more often. And
how would you allow them to even drive forward knowing the motorcade's coming?
It's not like they really block it off well. If you think you're turning on a red, but how would they do? I mean, that'd be more tax money for one human to get from point A to B.
You think they were worried about that?
No, but I'm kind of glad they are.
A potential national tragedy was averted Sunday night as an unknown sedan crashed into a SUV that was guarding President Joe Biden's motorcade while it was parked outside his presidential campaign headquarters in Wilmington. The president was unharmed. Biden was leaving the building that houses campaign headquarters, where he and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden reportedly had dinner with staffers and had stopped to answer questions from reporters when a loud noise started. Those gathered outside. See, they made it sound like the motorcade was on the road. They lied about that headline.
I know. That's why I was reading it, and I was like, well, I want to know where this car was parked. Was it in a weird spot? All the details. Because the motorcades do be in weird places.
But why didn't they point out the motorcade wasn't even in a car yet?
Yeah, can you call it a motor?
Go ahead.
Can you call it a motorcade if it's not in motion? Isn't it just a parked car at that point?
No, you're absolutely right. That's not a motorcade. That's a car parked. That's what that is.
Was this guy like backing out of a spot and just like wasn't looking at his backwards cam and just like nicked it? And they're like, "Oh, he crashed into the motor. Get on the ground. Get on the ground."
Sir, sorry, I'm a bad driver.
I just need your insurance information. Get on the ground. Yeah. Either that or this was like an insane new ad for the next Grand Theft Auto game that got announced.
Maybe. Sedan crashed into an SUV that was being used to block off the intersections near the building as the motorcade prepared. So once again, though, even though the motorcade wasn't part of this deal, this was being used to block it. How did you not notice it was blocking the intersection that you weren't supposed to drive into? How would you not notice that?
I mean, obviously this person wasn't paying attention. I hope this wasn't an intentional thing.
It might have been.
But also, that's a pretty brazen thing or it's a pretty dumb thing overall to be like, oh, he's, Joe Biden's in the parked vehicle that's in the intersection. Like, it doesn't work like that.
The Secret Service did not immediately comment on the incident. So there are still some things they're looking at why this happened.
They're like, it was a teenager texting and driving, but we detained them for 4 years.
Yeah, it doesn't really talk much about who was driving the vehicle, does it?
No.
Yeah, this might be a little suspicious.
I couldn't say less. Like, I don't know. Tevin's being kind of quiet. Where were you the other night?
Oh no! I mean, it's like the motorcade was. I'm one surprised, like you, Brittany, that this doesn't happen more often. But also, it feels like okay, so somebody accidentally hit the SUV in a thing. Move like there's no story here. Like they're not releasing anything because there's no. If it was like a potential terrorist attack, they would throw that in our face like we just stopped a potential plot type of thing. Where it feels like some 16-year-old just wasn't paying attention and bumped into a car.
Or like if they hit like a traffic cone now, a terrorist tries to take on the president. No, bitch. Somebody's just really bad at driving.
Right. Like, it was a student driver after all, just trying to parallel park.
I'm so sorry.
But the problem is the SUV was blocking the intersection. Why would you go forward into the intersection if you couldn't get there?
Yeah. Well, I would assume that it's one of those situations where it's the SUV that's way ahead and they speed, quick stop, everybody goes by and they pull out and they keep going. And so it was one of those like perfect timings where maybe they're pulling in as somebody is trying to proceed and you have a little car accident. It's just like feels like they were trying to make a big deal out of just a normal everyday car accident.
But no, it's not a normal everyday car accident. You don't have SUVs sitting sideways going into an intersection. I mean, that's the problem. And they weren't even in the motorcade yet. So yes, as you guys pointed out earlier, they should have never said car crashes into parked SUV guarding Biden motorcade. There was no motorcade yet. They weren't even in the cars yet.
This article could have said vehicle hits other vehicle.
There you go.
Car crash happens at intersection. Done.
But I still don't understand how you drive into an SUV that's sitting sideways blocking the street. How the hell do you not see that?
I mean,
texting, maybe.
Yeah, or like looking at a different thing, or if there's a bunch of people walking around.
God, I really hope that people aren't that stupid to not be paying attention when they're driving a vehicle.
Listen,
well, Tom, let me tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of every morning drive you've had into the studio and how many drivers you see, and so it's probably what happened there.
I don't know. Pay attention. Can people just pay attention for Christ's sake? Is that possible?
I mean, that's our biggest issue, right? Is our attention spans seem to be diminishing.
They do. You're absolutely right. They seem to be diminishing. But I've noticed another thing, and it's getting worse every year. That let's say I don't want to name a street, but you're going across the street in Minneapolis or St. Paul, and it's a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Almost everybody is doing 60 or 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
I don't know.
For your own safety, you shouldn't be driving 70 miles an hour in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. What the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
But my God, Catherine and I were standing on the corner the other day, and cars were just zooming by us. We're waiting to cross the street. There's no light or anything. It's just a stop sign going one way. but the cars were just screaming by doing 60, 70 miles an hour on a side street. Where are you going? You need to drive that fast on a side street.
I don't know. But yeah, I think there's just a lot. Things just seem to be constantly trending in a situation where you go, oh, that could be bad.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why people do the things that they do. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. It's not a good idea to be doing things like that.
Yeah.
We need to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes, ladies and gentlemen. More news right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
Most folks know that the Grand Old Creamery has been iconic in the Twin Cities as a small batch handcrafted ultra premium ice cream parlor with over 300 flavors and 32 on hand at any given time at their St. Paul Grand Avenue and Minneapolis Cedar Avenue locations. What you might not know about this third generation, family owned and operated delicious dessert destination is that the taste of the Grand Old Creamery with 14% butterfat and locally sourced dairy from farms within a 100-mile radius of the metro is in a store near you right now. That's right. Nicely priced pints and the most popular flavors of Grand Old Creamery are patiently waiting and coolly placed in the frozen section of your favorite high-quality grocer. And if you're feeling a little Santa-like, ho, 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 it's me, Santa. Our eggnog and Winter Wonderland flavors are available for a limited time for you to stock up on our Grand Avenue location only. The made in Minnesota taste of Grand Old Creamery awaits everyone at Lunds Byerly's, Kowalski's, Hy-Vee, and find your nearest store at grandoldcreamery.com. Then ask for a spoon.
Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes. We have found out, there's no question about it. Wall Street Journal, America had quiet quitting in China. Young people are letting it rot. What the hell ever that means. China's ruling Communist Party wants the country's young people to be ambitious, work hard, and prepare for adversity. Yeah, good luck to you. Li Jiajia wants to win the lottery. Demoralized by a weak economy, unfulfilling jobs, and a paternalistic state, young Chinese such as Li are looking for pathways out of the carefully scripted lives their elders want for them, putting themselves at odds with the country's priorities. After moving to Beijing from her hometown in southeastern China in April, the 24-year-old Li found her new job as a content creator at a technology startup uninspiring. She said she has no desire to climb the corporate ladder, especially when the number of high-paying Chinese tech jobs is shrinking. Why would they be shrinking the number of jobs? You think they'd be getting bigger?
You would think. China had a massive tech boom recently, and half of the jobs are in the tech industry.
So why they're talking about why are those jobs shrinking now? Why would that be happening?
It's a great question.
Maybe that jobs are animated now. I mean, they can be AI could be used, or it could be the whole.
Yeah, I mean, like the grunt work for a lot of tech jobs is becoming obsolete for sure. Like moderating for one. Moderators are barely necessary anymore. Tech support, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like
a lot of that is going away.
They're building the tech that's like going to take over their own job a lot of the times when it comes to the big tech boom.
Yeah, or like with Spotify, when they kind of had their boom and they overhired, and now they've got a cut. So it could be something like that as well.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's during a boom. I mean, these companies are hiring tens of thousands of people who they don't even need.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's like some tax reason or something that they do it, because, these companies don't become multi-billion-dollar global conglomerates by not knowing how to, work money. But they all do it. They all hire like 20,000 useless people and then sit on them for like 5 to 10 years. And then as soon as the time comes for the bubble to start bursting, they're the first people to go. It's like, why do they do it?
Well, that's my question. Why do they do? One of the problems they're having, and this has happened in other generations, I guess, but the disconnect between the boomers and you guys is huge. We literally agree on nothing. Do you think that's part of it? Because we can't agree on anything?
I don't know. I think
Brittany's trying to respond without saying, I disagree.
Yeah, that it just proves the point.
It just proves the point, exactly.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if like that is an ever-present thing. Is that
I think it is.
Is the idea that we're online arguing with boomers? I don't know. Like I don't use social media to communicate all that much. Like
no, I don't. I'm not on it at all. I'm talking. Well, on this very show, we hardly agree on anything.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
What's that?
I don't think that's necessarily true.
Well, no, I mean, this morning we've agreed on nothing this morning so far.
Maybe the small stuff, like
I'm not saying it's all big stuff. You're right.
No, like the flavor of something, or how we do something, or how we communicate. But like, I think a lot of times the things that really matter, we line up, whatever. And yeah, I mean,
I think so.
Well, yeah, like what have you disagreed about today?
I don't know, mostly entertainment things.
Well, I mean,
not that big a deal.
Entertainment sucks.
I mean, it's a big disconnect in these two generations, though. They agree on nothing. I've been doing a lot of reading about this. They have completely different viewpoints. And the thing about that is, I don't think people understand the greatest generation, being the parents of the boomers, did an amazing job keeping this earth spinning, because I'm sorry, but it wasn't for the United States of America, this planet would be in a much different state, although we're heading toward that commie bullshit anyway. So maybe it was a complete waste of time. But so there was a lot of pressure on people in my generation to perform, to thank the previous generation, which basically did save the earth from being a complete shithole, which it would have been under Hitler. There's no question about that. But now you guys in your generation comes along and you're looking to work less, not more.
Well, I don't know. Look at the difference between the greatest generation and like the hippies, free love.
Oh, no doubt about it. You're absolutely right.
I mean, there was definitely a massive contingent of boomers who were like, whatever dad wants me to do, I'm going to do the opposite.
Oh, that's always going to happen. You're absolutely right about that. And you are correct about that whole hippie generation thing. But that was more about, where can I find some pot and get laid? That was that whole generation.
That is true.
still asking that.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a good hippie. I would not have been a good hippie. I wore long hair sometimes, but I just they don't make a good hippie. You're not supposed to have long hair.
Yeah, I don't even see you sitting on the ground. Like I don't.
No,
that's just not like something I see you doing.
So, do you think we can semi kind of meet in the middle on some of this stuff?
Yeah, it's funny because like most of my day is with older people. I start off my day with you, Tom, and I have a lovely time here. And then I hang out with my mom a lot of times. And then there's other shows I'm on with older people. And so I don't know. I don't do your go-go scream.
Nah, in the back. Mom's lying on the podcast right now. I can hear her lying.
That's the only bitch I don't get along with sometimes.
He says, I'm not having a good time with older people right now.
What's that, Andy?
Go-Go's not having a good time with older people.
No, she's not having that. Yes.
She's not agreeing with older people.
No, she is not.
And that has to do with you. You're the older person in that one.
Yeah.
We're all the older person in her world.
In her world, yes, we're all the older person. I just, it's one of those situations now. The hatred in the world right now is disgusting. Like I said, I wouldn't waste a minute of my life hating someone. There are people I don't like, but I just don't go anywhere near them. And I don't say you shouldn't go anywhere near them either. You guys do what you do. I do what I do. I don't happen to like that person, but I'm not going to hate them. What a waste of energy that is.
Yeah, I think it's weird. I notice that once in a while, it doesn't come up often, but there's this like hatred for teenagers and early 20-year-olds.
Teenagers are obnoxious.
But like I hung out with, there was this 19-year-old girl who is her mom lives in Duluth, and she asked to come over and hang out and just kind of be part of a family dynamic. And it was really funny because the way she communicates with her friends is via Snapchat. So as we're talking, she'll take a picture of her own head and just send it off, and it won't even be a good one. But I thought it was funny. It was like, what do you do? Like what? Because literally in mid-sentence, she'll go and send it up. And I'm like, these are hideous photos. It's like a neck and like an eyebrow. And I'm like,
yeah, I remember I was at I think it was the Carver County Fair. And we were walking along, and all of a sudden this Zoomer kid comes up to me and he's like, hey, can you take a picture of me really quick? And I'm like, okay, sure. And so I just take a picture of him doing this like dumbass pose or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so what was that all about? And he's like, oh, it's Be Real. I'm like, what in the hell is Be Real? And it's an app where it's like all of your friends will get a notification, and you have to take a picture of yourself within 5 minutes, or I don't know, Hit Squad comes after you or something. But the idea is it's called Be Real because you only have 5 minutes. You don't have time to do your hair or, get to a, luxurious place or whatever. It's, this is how I look right at this moment. And I think it's kind of a neat idea because it's contrary to the whole like Facebook curated life thing where you're presenting your best hits. It's like, you're showing everyone, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm hanging out at the state fair. I'm on the couch, I'm driving to work. I guess maybe you shouldn't use it while driving to work, but you know what I mean.
Well, why would people even care to see those pictures? Who cares?
I think it's a more accurate glimpse into people's world because, Andy, it was so funny. When I was in nursing school, you could tell when everyone's Be Real went off, and they would know how excited I was to be in their Be Real because I didn't have it. And I was like, oh, I love being real. And so I'm like, when you always like a double chin, like act like I'm doing homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a less curated thing. And then they love checking on what everyone's doing and where they're at. And like a lot of it, it's like them sitting on their bed with a big blanket. Like that's
just lounging. Yep.
But who cares? Why would you even care about that?
I don't know.
It's well, because it's a world. Today's world is all what can I, make it look like I'm
fake.
doing, right? Like I gotta, I'm on, this might be the one vacation that I go on all year, but I'm gonna take 1,000 pictures and make it look like I'm traveling every day of the week. And so this is like kind of the antithesis to that, where realistically, I'm never wearing makeup. I'm always wearing sweatpants, and I look halfway decent.
Exactly.
Not perfectly picturesque.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a counterculture kind of thing.
Yeah.
To the increasingly fake life we put out on the internet.
Yeah.
It it makes sense.
It never fit in. I never fit into social media at all. I haven't been on social media now, I think, in 12 years. I never fit in. I couldn't give a rat's ass about any of that stuff.
Well, no, me either. I never did any of that. Well, like I was on Facebook for maybe a year or two back when it was really, really new.
Yeah.
Like right after, or even I think a little before it opened up. Because originally it was for college students only.
Yeah.
I was in there. I was on the ground floor for that, but I never used it because I was like, why would I care about this? And then it's like the family got on it and we started uploading family pictures. But then eventually I was just like, I don't really care. No one cares about my life. And to be honest, I don't really care about their lives either.
Right.
So whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think Facebook is a tool. Our Instagram is a tool of but you can't use it as real or interchangeable as communication. I don't even take what people write all that seriously because like the other day I posted a picture of Gogo freaking out on Santa's lap and somebody wrote something like, what a great mom, or, you know, like joke. And,
I know.
But the funny thing is I was in a bad mood when I read the comments and I read it like, oh, she's judging me. And then I took 2 seconds. I go, oh no, she's totally joking and being funny. And like, if I just look at it, like I don't take, and when everything's fine, I don't take any comment seriously. People can write me whatever, and I will like heart it, live my life. And when I it was just like a really quick glimpse into how, if you're not in a good mindset, how you can take something so simple and just be angry about it. And like, I don't want to engage in that. I will post pictures and I will look at pictures, but like, I do not want to use it as a form of pure communication.
Oh God, no. Do they still do that, threatening people that they know will never be able to get at them? Do they still do that on social media?
Yes,
I think it's calmed down quite a bit, but again, my world is pretty small. I'm not on a lot of anonymous things. I don't know. I don't give a lot. Like I posted today on my Twitter that my top 2 artists were Super Simple Songs and Taylor Swift, and it was like the most glimpse into my world is like kids music and Taylor Swift. So it's not like mine's all not that controversial. No one's gonna be like, oh yeah, well, you think Super Simple Songs are good? Like, oh yeah.
Well, and now today, because of kids getting bullied online and then suicides going up in schools, Facebook and a lot of other social media platforms have really cracked down on what you can and cannot say. So if I were to type in like, hey, I'm going to come to your house and beat you up, that'll get taken down automatically by Facebook. Really anybody has a chance to see.
That's a very important lesson that we are going to have to be teaching our kids. And honestly, kids should have been taught probably since early mid 2000s is try not to spend too much time on like putting yourself in the public eye online, because you're just going to attract a lot of very negative attention. Like Brittany and I probably, when did you first get the internet, Brittany?
Oh God, well, after you, because I didn't have it in my childhood house. We had, I think maybe we had it a little bit. Yeah, because we had Napster. I remember having Napster and a little bit of AOL Instant Messenger, maybe my junior and senior year. And so I was probably 2002.
Oh, so still pretty early, still pre-iPhone.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, pre-Eternal September internet, arguably. But so when we had the internet, especially before the iPhone, it was so Wild West that no one really knew, like, okay, my kid's going on the internet. I don't even really know what that means. So how do I tell him what the dangers are of this thing when I don't know what the hell it is? It's like, what do you use it to download video games and like, pictures of, Captain Janeway and Picard, because that's what's like cool right now. But at this point, I think everyone understands it well enough that if you don't have this talk with your kid, then you are actively doing them a disservice. You have to tell them what to expect and why you shouldn't take it seriously.
Yeah, and you're really onto something, because there's a lot of lessons being learned. One of my friends, her kiddo, they took an innocent photo of somebody who didn't know there was a photo being taken, and they posted it on something, whatever. And they had to sit down and have a talk of like, you can't post pictures of people who don't know you're taking the photo. And I was like, what a great time to learn that lesson. Like, it was preteen, whatever. And I was like, that's a conversation you have to have. Like, there's so many conversations you have to have. Like, don't post pictures of people that they don't know or that don't know they're taking the photo. Don't this and that, whatever. It's just, there's just a lot more lessons out there to learn about.
The only one I remember as a kid when I used to be on AIM all the time, hours and hours and hours a day.
No, what is AIM?
AOL Instant Messenger. It's just like a chat room, but they had chat rooms where you could go and everyone is in the room and you would just like, talk and hang out and talk to these strangers. And the only time I remember getting an internet lesson was I was talking to these people on AIM and one of them was flirting with me. And Dad was like, "Are you sure that's not an adult?" And I'm like, I never really thought about it because I was like 12 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, another 12-year-old girl's into me. I'm a 12-year-old boy. It's perfect. But for all I knew, that could have been a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I just had never thought about it before.
That's
and after that point, I started getting weirded out and kind of like distanced myself from AIM because I was like, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah, everybody I feel like has that kind of realization. When I remember there was, I think it was Mini Clip was like a huge gaming thing, and I played an online pool. Like I was addicted to it.
All these crappy Flash games, but they were free for one.
And I got into this super in-depth conversation what I thought was like probably somebody my age, and we were talking about sports. He's like, "Oh, you play football?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, wide receiver, blah blah." We're going back and forth, and then he like just mentioned, "Oh, like he was much older than I was at the time," and then it clicked like, and he even mentioned like, "Hey, like I just want to make sure you know that I'm an adult, not a man." And I was like, "Oh,
that's good.
That actually is something I should probably be thinking of. That not everybody is just some 10-year-old playing pool out here. Like some of these people are adults."
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with like an adult and a child having a conversation about football.
Yeah,
but it's like, I was expecting you to go into like, "Oh, you play football? Do you ever take your shirt off?"
Oh no,
right?
Like that. But it was like a stranger ended up teaching me like, "Hey, maybe you should be a little bit cautious about what you're willing to tell people."
That happened to me so much on Xbox Live because I kind of have a voice of a boy about to go through puberty. And I don't know how many times I'd be like, "Just a heads up, I'm a 28-year-old like adult." And they're like, "What?" And they'll sign off. And I'm like, "Okay, that was the right call." Like, I don't want like a lot of times it's just zombie killing and no talking, like whatever. But there's those moments you're like, I don't know how to say this in a less weird way. I'm a full-grown adult.
Yeah. You're not talking to a child right now. I'm sorry.
So I have a question for you guys because there is so much hatred. I mean, before the show started this morning, Andy, we were going through the stories. There's nothing but anger and meanness and hatred. That's what we got to go through right now. So do you talk to young people? No, your kids are so young. Both Ethan and Gogo are so young that probably not yet, but you're going to have long talks with them. These people are mean and hateful. And if they're being way over the top nice to you, that's a danger sign. No doubt about it.
I don't know. The niceness thing, I mean, I guess it depends. Like if you're a child and they know you're a child and they're being weirdly nice to you, that's definitely a red flag.
Yeah.
Because that's like, it's grooming behavior, arguably. Like if they're too nice to you. But I mean, like, how do you tell a child, like, this is the line between too nice and regular nice?
Right.
I don't think they really understand that subtlety.
But they'd have to be careful still, I would imagine. I don't know. I have not been on like I said, I haven't been on any of that crap in 12 years. So I don't even know what it's like anymore. I remember what it was like in the beginning and everybody was a tough guy. And that was the number one thing I hated about it is I would get on there and it's like, "Oh, do this." And I said, "Bullshit. 917 North Lilac Drive. Come on over." And nobody ever showed up. Everybody's a tough guy. Are they still like that on there?
Yeah, for the most part, I think everybody is a tough guy to some degree. And I think when it comes to, kids being on there, I think that when you get somebody that's trying to scam you or take advantage of you, oftentimes it's very easy to do a little bit of research into what you can find publicly on that person and determine if that is a situation that you should be fearful of. Like if it's a profile picture where they don't have their own face on it, or if they only have a few grainy photos in their feed of things. Like most people, if it is, an adult that's talking to a kid or whatever, they're going to have pictures of their family and you're going to be able to tell that it's a real person and not just a profile that was put together in 2 minutes.
Yeah. I think you got the sneaky one are the games. I think that's where you can get people sneaking in because like Ethan's not going to be on chat like chat rooms, and Ethan's not there's a lot of things we already know, right? Because Andy was talking about the wild west of the internet. Parents had no idea what we were doing.
No.
And then there is like now where you go, okay, these are obviously we're going to say kid focused stuff, but that's where a bunch of predators know where to go. Roblox,
Discord is a big one.
Yes, and God, even the Oculus, you have to watch out just because it's kind of sneaky. You don't even know that you can't watch them play it,
VR chat kind of things. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's a bunch of video games where you talk to people while you're playing it.
Yep.
And so I think it's just like those kind of sneaky things you have to be careful for is like the kids wearing the headphones on the iPad is probably something you just got to keep insight on.
Yeah, and like if somebody keeps insisting on wanting to meet up or have you send them pictures, like that's not a normal thing.
Never meet up, never send pictures. Yeah. That is another thing that my parents told us, like before we even logged on for the first time. It's like never tell anyone your address, never tell anyone your real name, that sort of thing.
A prince isn't trying to send you $100,000.
That's so. It sounds like it's gotten both more dangerous, but the handling of that danger has gotten better.
I think it's less dangerous than it was.
I don't know, Andy. I feel like it's kind of like those people are still out there. They're going to find different ways.
Yeah.
But it's harder because everything is so sanitized, moderated, corporatized. There's no like kids aren't hanging out in these like unrestricted peer-to-peer connected chat rooms where absolutely no one knows what's being said except for these two people. Everything is going through some data server that's being monitored by 10,000 AI bots.
Yeah, I'd say the only thing that it would make me a little nervous is the things that people make connections on, like let's say Fortnite, is a slow building relationship that somebody could sign on every week and play with this kid and make that, like an AOL Instant Messenger, we would be like, me and my friends would be like, talk to a random person, block them, and never think of them again. But some of these games they play with these kids, they'll play for weeks. Having, and they kind of feel like they're a friend. They'll play, I keep using Fortnite as an example, and it's like, oh yeah, of course I'll tell this friend I've been playing with for a month. It feels real. My name or what city I live in. And so that's the sneaky thing you hear about nowadays.
Okay, so 5 years from now, Andy, well, not even 5 years, let's say 3 years from now, your son is 5 and Brittany's daughter is 4.5. What will you tell them 3 years from now?
I'm going to tell them the internet doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
The internet's broken today.
Not real. Well, he's not going to be able to read yet, so it's like the internet's not exactly a huge danger for him.
Yeah.
You don't think at 5 he's be able to read?
Not enough for it to matter, I don't think. Like he can, read, cow says moo kind of stuff, but
yeah, I suppose. So at what age is the danger then? Is it 7, 8, 9 years old?
Yeah, probably that's when it starts. They know enough to like, if they wanted to seek certain topics out, like they could go to Google and like just start randomly clicking around, typing in relevant keywords and stuff like that. A 5-year-old's not going to be able to do that.
And two, I think you have to kind of add the combination of they're old enough to where they can potentially get themselves into a situation, but then also like if they're, 14 years old, they're not scared to, walk maybe to a different part of town after school or, thing. So they have to have that mobility aspect of it.
That too. Well, yeah. A 5-year-old's not going to, go meet some stranger on the internet. They don't have the ability to, even if they wanted to.
I just hope, and this is how I was with my nanny kids and the girls next door, is like, I hope I am somebody who they always look at as a person who will help their situation and whatever that is. If they find themselves in this predicament or they're talking to somebody and they feel scared, is like, that's the way I hope I can raise Gogo, is that like going to mom helps things, doesn't, go, what you were doing? Because like,
right.
We all made mistakes growing up. And I think it's funny how there's a lot of parents out there who pretend like they didn't have a teenage. I mean, I did things on the internet where I'm like mortified about, and you go,
yeah, we all did.
We all did, like, and so I just want to always try to keep that dialogue up, because it's going to be all dangers are everywhere. Somebody's going to say something to them. I just want to be somebody where they can go, can you believe this guy said this to me? And be like, okay, let's unpack that a little bit. How did we get there? And let's figure this out together. Like, that's all I can keep doing or try to do.
So people are smart enough now, the average person is smart enough to go, let's just avoid all of that stuff the minute it pops up. Can you tell?
I don't think you can avoid it. I think
you can't. Okay.
I think that there's always going to be, like I just want Margot to be able to come to me, because sleepovers are riddled in who's at that house. Going on a field trip, there's things in that. Like, I just want my kid to be able to come to me, and that's all I can do. I can obviously put the obvious restraints and child protection, but like, we had child protection on our TV, and all we had to do was unplug the back and plug it back in, and all that was gone for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, there's just like anybody, there's terrorism and counterterrorism, and they all work together in a weird way that, like, you just in my mind, is keeping that open dialogue is just so important.
And monitor what your kid is doing.
Yeah.
And
do what you can. Like, it's like locking the door of your house, right? Like, that's the obvious first thing you can do is lock the door, but also being ready if other things happen.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a person right now saying they're Kristyn Burt, and they're trying to make a connection with her. Should I trust her?
I wouldn't.
Probably not.
Report and block.
Okay, report and block KB3. There you go. We shall be right back. Kristyn Burt will join us at that time.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombernardshow.com.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them? This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather. That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom. I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow. I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit My Choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. klgunstore.com. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. It's Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy. For your second home in Florida, Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw and Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Kristyn Burton now joins us. So I just want to tie you in very, very quickly. I think we can move on from there, but we were just talking about social media and people reaching out and doing these things. And I haven't been on social media in 12 years, so I don't know anything about that. To be someone sitting out in Hollywood, being connected to all these different markets, all that stuff, do you have to go through a lot of that stuff on social media?
Yes, anyone who has ever sent me a private message on Facebook knows that they get an auto response back. I don't utilize Facebook messaging whatsoever because people like to send me dick pics. And there is nothing I want less than a dick pic. Please don't send me them. Please don't. Please.
Do you ever get any female anatomy pics?
I never do.
Never
have. Never
Interesting.
will. Yeah. I don't think women do that. I just don't think women are like, oh, let me send you a photo of my boob or my vagina.
No.
It just doesn't work that way. And it's one of those things. It's like, and you have to just sit there and report, and it's a whole process, and it's, and then Facebook doesn't really care at the end of the day.
Wouldn't that be illegal to send somebody a picture of your Johnson?
Technically, in some places, I believe it is.
Yeah, it's got to be, I would think. You can't just do that to people you don't even know, right?
And it happens a lot. That's why I literally have an auto response. I just don't even look in there. I'm like, if you need to reach me, this is the email. Otherwise, I'm not responding to this. And they'll never, ever send the photos to my email because I think that leaves an electronic trace.
Oh,
a little bit.
That
IP address or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like it's that big of a difference. Like it's still, but it's funny that the formality of the email is the gatekeeper to seeing randos' dicks.
And I'm wondering though, it's also probably because Facebook does very little. They do very little to protect the person on the receiving end, and the perpetrator knows that. They know that, okay, maybe they'll get blocked and they'll just find another woman to do it to. But I think that they know there's very little punishment for them on Facebook.
Why would Facebook even do something like that? That makes no sense.
Well, I report the message to Facebook and then they have access to it and what was sent. But their accounts still go on. I think they're just like freedom of speech. Like, okay, that's not the speech I'm looking for.
That's not freedom of speech. Showing someone your Johnson is not freedom of speech. Sorry.
No.
Just not.
And it's so common. Like, that's why I literally have that auto response. I mean, if I checked every single week, I'm sure there's at least one man per week who does it.
Yeah.
One a week?
That's ridiculous.
It's often.
That is a bizarre situation, no question. Now, I don't know anything about this whole deal. It came up last week. Did some guy, he was an aide to a congressperson or a senator or something, had gay sex in the congressional whatever, and
was taking pictures. Yeah,
I was taking pictures. Why is that okay?
I don't think it is okay.
Well, no.
Some people.
Having sex at your place of work and documenting it, probably not a great idea.
No, and very few people
no
are saying
where
this
you
is
work.
okay.
But I am saying there are some people that said, why don't you just leave them alone? What are you, homophobic? It's like, how did I become homophobic? Because I don't think the guy should have done this.
Well, there's a lot of very dumb people out there.
What's that?
I said there's a lot of very dumb people out there
guess
who will they'll defend any behavior coming from their side, no matter how reprehensible.
Because I had a
Unless you're George Santos, who's ready to like spill all the tea. And I'm like, just do it, spill it, tell us what's happening.
Yeah, it's true. No, I had a friend send me this one situation where I don't know if it was the press or who it was. I don't get too far into this stuff, but sent me a statement that they made. Oh, so now you have problems with people showing love for one another?
Just say yes. Sure, yes, I do.
I am pretty sure that if I ever asked Catherine to have sex in a public place and post it online, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Don't do it at work. I don't know what to tell you. Just don't do it at work.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't even see the thing, and I just don't know why you'd want to do that, and I don't know why you'd want to defend it if somebody did do that. Why are you defending this? It was a huge mistake. Don't do that. And I don't care if you work, in the federal government or a Dairy Queen. Don't take pictures of yourself stooping somebody at work. How about that? That'd be good.
Or the holiday party or whatever it is.
Yeah, or wherever. Yeah. It's a hell of a story. So what's new in your world, sister?
Well, the news broke on Friday. I don't know if you guys have discussed it, but we did get Matthew Perry's autopsy report, which I think kind of had some answers that I think a lot of us were unfortunately expecting. But really tragic. And I think a lot of people got confused over the whole ketamine situation because he was receiving ketamine infusions from his doctor to deal with his depression. That is not what killed him. He had a high dose of ketamine that he obviously or likely self-induced. Is that, I guess, the right word? Self-ingested. And it's one of those situations where mixed in with a hot tub and the fact that it was high levels that a doctor would never, ever give someone. They are calling it an accidental death because he probably gave himself too much, stepped into the hot tub, and that contributed to a whole host of respiratory and cardiovascular issues as well. So,
ketamine treatment for mental illness is a newish thing, and it's in very, very low doses.
Very low doses. And it only lasts like 3 hours max in your system.
Yeah, but ketamine as a recreational drug has been around for a very long time.
Some people will know it as Special K.
Yep, Special K. Yeah, the K hole, that sort of thing. But yeah, if the dose was high, then a doctor did not give it to him. That or there was a grievous medical error.
He had not been to the doctor that day. They have cleared that.
Well, there you go. So
yeah.
Well, he actually do this. He actually passed out and drowned, didn't he?
That was like the secondary cause of his death.
Secondary, okay.
Yeah.
So would he have died anyway if he hadn't drowned? He would have died from it anyway?
They I've listened to some specialists and doctors, and they said likely because the dosage was so high at that point, and he had a weakened cardiovascular and respiratory system because of years of drug abuse and alcohol abuse.
I'm so glad that seriously, I feel so bad for people because some people go through that and other people just never happens to them. I don't know what obviously something happened in his life because he was seeking psychological help. No question about it. He needed some counseling. Seemed like a nice enough guy back in the day and all the rest of it. But it's such a sad situation that you cannot stand. And then look, a lot of us take, things to kind of even out that's why one reason that THC stores have become so popular, because if you do pop 5 milligrams of THC, you are going to feel better. If you pop 50, you're going to start seeing things. I mean, you got to know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, but we have to, addiction is an illness, and we have to, really understand that. And, depression is tied to that for many people. And I think he was telling his friends that he was sober, and I don't think that was necessarily the case, and had gotten good at being able to fool people. And I think it's just sad. It's just sad that he's gone. Because he was such a proponent for people getting sober and helping others stay sober and sharing his journey, which I am sure has helped a lot of other people with his honesty.
Was anyone surprised, though, they did find him dead in a hot tub?
I think a lot of his close friends really did believe that he was sober. And so I think for them, they're going to have to grapple with that. And other friends were like, I just didn't believe it. I didn't feel that it was always the truth. You're going to have two sides to the story. And I think it's just depending on who he was telling stories to and who he wasn't.
Is it, I mean, seriously, some people have that much pain with their feelings that they have to deaden their feelings. I mean, that's what alcoholism is all about, right? They try to deaden their feelings with alcohol because their bad feelings are so severe. Is that still correct? It seems to me that's probably the problem here.
Yeah, the thing is, origins of alcoholism are all over the place. I mean, I've been to enough meetings to know that. And it's really interesting. So everybody has a different line of what is sobriety. And I could see the rationale in his head of believing he's sober because he's doing a procedure, that he's been told to do. And it's a slip, it's a blurred line of what is okay. He's probably done that a million times, that dose, to be honest. Like, to him, that's not a big deal. And I have friends that are on ketamine therapy as well.
Oh, you do?
Okay. Microdosing for depression. Yeah. And it's pretty casual about when, and I think sometimes that stuff, and then you'll run into people like I have, I've used marijuana casually since being sober, but they would say, no, you have to start your sobriety date over. And it's just, nothing is as clear cut in any world. It's just like, there's all sorts of different, groups in anything. There's also different groups in sobriety and AA and addiction. So, it sucks. I hate when people steer away from it when they're like, we don't want to talk about, don't bring up his addiction. It's like, addiction is a huge part of my life. And it was always a big one of Matthew Perry's.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's not a demon in some ways. It's like, that's just part of the puzzle that is this person. And I don't know. I think it's a good conversation to bring up and have.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think people should talk more openly about all these things.
Yeah.
I got very lucky because I didn't, I stopped drinking when I was 21 and I started again when I was like 31. I went through, about 20 years but all of a sudden Catherine came to me one day and said, you should stop drinking. And I went, okay. Once saw a little, side deal for some counseling and stuff, never went into treatment or anything like that. Had some counseling on it. I just get lucky, the fact that I could just give up alcohol and it didn't affect me that much?
Well, like, it's funny because sometimes when you say that, I go, well, in some ways you went through a program because you hit your version of your rock bottom.
I suppose. Yeah.
And I don't mean this in like a bad way, but Tom, you've talked many times about the dinner that you and Catherine had prior to you getting sober. And you didn't do it. Some things that nobody would think twice about, but in your mind and in Catherine's mind, it's like, no, that's not acceptable. And you hit a point where you go, okay, I don't want to be that person. And it's not like you did anything horrendous. I'm not trying to I just don't want to speak your truth. And I know you've said it on air many times, but that was your version of rock bottom. Like, you're losing Catherine, even that it wasn't even said, but that hinted at anything like that, or your wife being mad at you. Yeah.
No doubt about that. So some people just get lucky, I guess, and other people, like Matthew Perry, was never going to beat it. He tried and tried and tried and tried, and he couldn't. And I'm not saying he was weak or anything.
No.
He just had different life experiences, different feelings, different thoughts. I guess, because giving up alcohol, Andy, you were there the day I said I would give up some alcohol. All the alcohol was on a Friday. And we took everybody to Ocean Air for dinner on Saturday night. And I ordered a bunch of wine. And Mom said, are you sure you want to do this? I said, I don't care if you drink wine. It's not a problem at all. I never had a problem with that. Other people could be drinking around me. I don't care. Whatever.
I think everyone's experience is different. I think there's also, I see a lot of dry drunks. And that's a term that people don't deal with whatever. And they're still fighting their battles. I've been to more meetings than I would ever have fingers for. And I loved it. When I needed it, I loved it. And I still will go to meetings here and there. And I love it. There's nothing. And then on top of it, there are these people, like I would say Matthew Perry. I obviously don't know him, but he would fall in this realm of, for some reason, they never want to follow the rules to the T.
Yeah.
And I know it's giving up that control. There always is a part of them that wants to hold on to that control. And I was really lucky when I got sober because I was like, oh my God, somebody take control and make the rules for me. I don't even care what the rules are. If I have to wear green on Wednesdays, fine. I was willing to give up that control and like take control back as I had gotten healthier. But some people have a really hard time with people saying, this is the way you have to live. And they go, oh, well, I'm not doing that. And like, I just have this weird feeling that Matthew Perry was always going to be somebody who kind of, whatever little act of rebellion they can, would be doing that. And this is totally an assumption.
If anyone hasn't read his book, it's really good and gives you a lot of insight into, I mean, he was really open in that book. It was Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. It just really gives you a lot of insight into what he was going through. Never had any self-esteem. So it's just one of those situations. Never felt he was good enough. He was on top of the world, making $1 million an episode. Dated Julia Roberts, still never felt like, he always felt less than.
And that was brought on by what? Did he ever reveal what brought that on?
I mean, I think he talked a lot about his childhood and dealing with a complicated relationship with his father. And Keith Morrison of Dateline really became a strong father figure in his life because he married his mother. Yeah, really. It's just really open and honest and refreshing in a way that you don't normally see in celebrity memoirs. And you see that he was really complicated and he was really torn with a lot of the things he's done and the situations he's been in. And I think he felt the need to apologize all the time because he had a very privileged life always, grew up in a relatively like upper middle class family and never lacked for anything. But at the same time, I think he always felt like he was apologizing for who he was. And it leaves you, it's just really sad. But I think for anyone who is struggling or anyone who knows someone who's struggling, I think it gives you a lot of insight.
So
one thing I would warn people on, and this is because I've asked a lot of other people, not just my personal experience, but one of the things you're going to go through if you used to drink with your friends a lot and all the rest of it, about 90% of them are going to never talk to you again because they might have to admit that they have a drinking problem, which I never said. I went, hey, you got a drinking problem, you should quit. 95% of those guys I've never talked to again. Once I went through that, they want to go out and have a good time. They don't want to think about it.
So I noticed that too, Tom. Like I was really young. I gave up alcohol, I think 13 years ago. And so I was 25. So that was not exactly the time where everybody is, getting into yoga and not drinking. Right. What I noticed is a lot of the friends that did have that, like, I don't want to hang out with somebody sober were usually the ones that have slowly trickled back into my life with like a, hey, I have a question kind of message because they're dealing with, their sobriety now. And they're like, know that they're like, so are they like a significant other in their life? Like, hey, I'm like, what do you got? What do you got? Like, I can tell you where to go and what to do. But like, yeah, I think as I get older, I find that those people have kind of changed a little bit, but then also like I've attracted people that I normally wouldn't have attracted in a good way too. So I've acquired such a fun network.
See, that's good. Yeah. And like I said, I'm not one of those guys that, you drink too much. I didn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
They just did not want to be around a person who doesn't drink.
Oh yeah. I don't care. I love when people are drunk. Like I love it because I can dance. And a lot of times I get like, when we would go on trips for the radio station, Tom, people would be like, Brittany, you were wasted last night. I'd be like, sure. Like,
sure I was.
Yeah. That's why I did karaoke. Like,
you're like high on life.
Yeah. Like, I don't care. Like, I love that they assume I can only go do something fun if I'm drunk. Like, fine. That's fine.
Yeah. The only thing I would say to people if they ask me is to just be true to yourself. Do what's in your head.
Yeah.
And go for it. Don't let anybody influence you, me or anyone else influence you and how you handle it. You can handle it. Just go do it.
Yeah. Well, the sober movement's really big too right now, especially among Gen Zers. So much so that I heard the wine industry is starting to panic a little bit because overall wine consumption is down post-pandemic. And a lot of people are choosing to either drink less or not drink at all. And maybe not even necessarily for addiction issues. They're just like, you know what? It just doesn't make me feel good.
No, the pandemic ruined it, I feel like, for a lot of people because that was all people had to do. Oh, virtual happy hour? Sure. Virtual happy now being hungover alone in your house the next day.
Or
it's fun.
Or like how more apparent it was when you
Mhm.
guys are all forced to be in the house together and you're like, yeah, whatever you're doing isn't working for the family. Like I noticed a lot of couples that were like, yeah, like Brittany, I can't live with Brittany. She wakes up hungover. You know what I mean? Like it just
Mhm.
all of our problems just got blown up so much. It was like all we had to deal with it. So that I think was a big part too.
Well, and Andy will tell you this. I still host wine parties for all my neighbors. Doesn't bother me a bit. I bring out the wine, I serve it to them. They have a great time. I don't care what somebody else is doing with wine. It's what I did with wine, right?
Yeah.
Didn't work out. Catherine didn't like it. I adore the woman. So goodbye. That was the end of old granddad. So, I was never a whiskey drinker. It was a wine and beer. That was my deal. I tried drinking whiskey. It did not fit with me at all because it really pissed me off to drink liquor. Isn't that weird?
No.
I would drink like scotch and go, you son of a bitch.
A lot of people are like that.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, hopefully this helps some people. It is not impossible. You can do it if you want to do it. And if you think you have a problem, take care of it. And if you don't, good for you.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that drink and they don't act like assholes ever. They're very, very even keel about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Kristyn, what else is happening in Hollywood other than booze hounds?
Booze hounds. No, we've got the other big controversy going on is Mayim Bialik was fired as the host of Jeopardy. And the show is like, yeah, and this is interesting. The show's line was like, hey, we wanted just consistency, one host. It's going to be Ken Jennings. But a lot of people think that this is retribution for her showing her alliance with the Writers Guild and not crossing the picket line. And they think that that was the reason why she was let go, because they did not bring her back once the writer's strike was settled. And she was like, guys, what's going on? And sure enough, they're like, we're just going to go with one host, and that's Ken Jennings.
I had heard from some insiders, and you're closer to insiders than I am, but I know a lot of people in the business that they didn't like the fact that she showed 100% support for the Jews. Correct?
She has also, she's been doing this video series. I don't know if you saw it on TikTok, Brittany, like how to know if you're an anti-Semite, that type of topic.
Right.
And that's also, wading into obviously Middle East politics. There are probably some people that don't like that too. So that is also another possibility that could be swirling around with her job on Jeopardy.
Well, and I feel like the Jeopardy host image is like, you have to be the most inoffensive person possible to be the face of Jeopardy, because it's like, your job is to read questions and say yes or no, basically. They don't want you to be like this explosive personality. Alex Trebek was like the definition of clean cut guy. And that's what they want. They don't want someone who's going to be, calling people anti-Semites and stuff like that.
I don't know if she was doing that. She was just defending the Jews. I don't think she, what you pointed out, Kristyn, how to know if you are anti-Semitic, because some people probably don't even know. I don't know what the situation. I always liked her a lot. She's a very, very smart woman. She's a very good actor. I've always enjoyed her work, so I was kind of sad to see it. Ken Jennings, on the other hand, is boring as hell.
Yeah, and a lot of people consider him a scab for crossing the picket line. There's that situation. A lot of people within Hollywood don't love him and don't love his personality. And then Mayim Bialik has had an anti-vax stance at some point in her past too.
Right.
And it's very complicated. I'm sure she got vaxxed because if she wanted to work in the last 2 or 3 years over the pandemic, you kind of had to be in Hollywood. But it's a very interesting situation where I really look at this and I go, nobody can replace Alex Trebek is really the situation.
No, you're right about that. He was terrific. He was really, really good at that job. No question about it. Yeah, I don't really understand. We talk about this a lot. Just because I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me, you're a bad guy, I'm a bad guy. No. I just don't understand that kind of thinking. We got in a discussion early this morning about that. People go, "Oh, this is how So basically what I said was, we're going to all line up, everything will be good. They got pissed off at me about that. Why do you have to just, fold everybody else's beliefs? Well, you're the one pushing me to join your party. So what are you doing any different than what they're doing? You don't talk to anybody unless they're one of your buddies in your political party. And I think that's on both sides. How is what you're doing good for people? Unless you agree with me, I don't like you. What? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's tough. I think a lot of Hollywood actors are even scared to talk about Middle East politics right now, just because if you take one side or the other, you are going to have a whole host of comments that you probably don't want to see. And it's not that people don't care, because I think a lot of people do care about what's happening to the innocent human beings in that situation. But nobody really wants to step into it. And then both sides are like, you don't care about the Palestinians, or you don't care about the Jewish community. And it's leading to a lot of infighting.
No doubt about it. Well, I mean, like Alex, she's here now and she, hates everyone.
That's me.
But we don't ever bring that up.
Yep. That's what it is,
It is what it is, I don't know. I just like to see people calm down and get along a lot better than they are. Not everyone has to agree with everything you think. And if you surround yourself with people who think exactly what you do, they're a bunch of ass-kissing morons. So find new friends. Correct?
That's it. Just go out and find a whole new circle.
I mean, I just don't understand. They argue points. Well, not everybody should be all crowded together. Yeah, but you won't talk to anybody unless they're in your personal political circle. So what the hell is the difference between what you're doing and what they're doing? There is no difference, right? I only like people who agree with me politically. Well, you're an idiot if that's how you think.
I think people would be surprised that a lot of people in their political circle actually vote differently. And we see that in Hollywood a lot. And they play a game because they have to, and whatever side it is. And at the, no, I'm not in the voting booth with anyone.
No, it's true. I like that. I'm really glad you brought that point up, because I bet you a lot of people do things totally different than the things they talk about. See, now I couldn't do that. There's something in my brain that won't let me do that. If you don't like it, tough shit. Go get somebody else, right? I would like to be able to hide things like that, like tell you I'm going to do one thing and I do another. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my brain. I can't do that. It's like, I'm going to do this, and if you don't like it, tough. Go away. Go find somebody else to talk to, right?
I have a really bad poker face, so like that.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
But in any case, what is any good thing happening in Hollywood right now?
Anything good? Well, we're kind of like at the end of the year, and a lot of, all the lists of like the best of, the worst of, everything is kind of coming out. But I saw on, I think it was TV Line, they had a great list of like TV shows that you missed and probably didn't watch this year that you should go back and revisit. And one of my favorites was actually on the list, which is Unprisoned. It was Kerry Washington and Delroy Lindo. It is like a 30-minute kind of like dark comedy. Just got picked up for a second season on Hulu. Highly recommend if you're looking for something to watch over the next couple of weeks. That is a really good one to watch. And it's like light and breezy and fun, great acting. And I just think people will really enjoy it.
And it's called what?
Unprisoned. Her father comes home from prison and has to live with her. And obviously that is an adjustment. So, and they have to navigate their complicated relationship, but it's done in a lighthearted way. I think, and Kerry Washington is always just one of my favorites.
Oh, she's terrific. But have you ever talked to Delroy Lindo?
I have.
One of the nicest people, one of the nicest men I've ever talked to in my life. He's just a great guy.
Yeah, super sweet. Yeah. Always a good interview. We'll give you good sound bites, which is all you ever ask for.
Yeah. And Kristyn, you went to the Daytime Emmys, correct? How was that? We had one of our guests that were on the show, Justin Sutherland, a local chef. He won a Daytime Emmy. So my timeline was flooded with photos of you and him celebrating and having a good time.
Oh, how fun. That's exciting. Did he win on a Saturday or Sunday ceremony? Because Friday was mostly soaps.
I believe it was Saturday.
Yeah. So there was a 3-day event with the Daytime Emmys. Some of them are considered creative arts. And then the Daytime Emmys that I attended were the ones that were broadcast on CBS and Paramount Plus. It was interesting because the show is smaller than it used to be. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because this was big, like Susan Lucci's big night of being honored for her Lifetime Achievement Award. And like I said to you guys, like she got her Emmy at the Radio City Music Hall, and here she was at this very small ceremony at, the Westin Bonaventure in downtown LA. And it felt smaller. And I feel like the Daytime Emmys deserve something maybe a little bit bigger, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It would make sense. She used to be a neighbor when we'd vacationed in one spot. She lived in the house right down the block from where we vacationed, and she was a very pleasant person. Andy and Alex, you remember running into her, don't you? Or maybe you never did.
Too young.
But yeah, she was very, very pleasant person.
Yeah, she's super sweet, was willing to do interviews. Sometimes it's interesting because you just never know who's going to do interviews and who's not. That's become kind of a post-pandemic, like, I'm just doing photos and running off. But she went down the line with everyone, which was really sweet. It was a very hectic and crowded red carpet. We were like on top of each other. I'm like, this is really fun to interview like this. I don't know what they do when they're organizing these red carpets. I need to take a picture of, like, I need to step on the red carpet and show a picture of how smushed they make reporters and camera people, because it is ridiculous to the point that I had, people on both sides of us. So when the girl next to me needed to do her interview, I would lean into our camera so I wouldn't be in her shot, because otherwise she'd have like my hair. And then I'd have to lean away when the other person did their shot from the other side, or step out completely and then step back in. It's uncomfortable. And I'm like, we can do better. We can do better.
No, you would hope so. All right, young lady, we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Yes, I will see you all tomorrow morning.
Looking forward to it. Thank you very much. We'll take a break, come right back, wrap things up right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, zero resified, starting at $129. And don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month. So call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet Care.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to Me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, my first question is probably mostly for Alex because Brittany, your daughter is 1.5. Andy, your son is 2. Alex, your kids are 5 and 7. Have you seen Wonka?
We are going on either Friday or Christmas Eve.
What's your early? I heard it's really good. That's why I'm even asking.
Very excited because
You
I
are
love all things Wonka and weirdness, and so I'm super excited. I don't really love Timothée Chalamet that much, but we'll see.
Who?
He's the guy
is
that's
Timothée
he was in
Chalamet?
Dune. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. He was in Dune. I don't think I've ever seen anything of his.
That's like the one movie I could think of that you would have seen that he's in.
Ralph kept trying to get me to see
He
it.
kept on. I remember. He
But
was
then it
constantly-
came out and he was like, "It sucks. Don't go see it."
Okay,
So I was like,
great.
"All right."
Yeah, because he
Easy
was
enough.
he was in that one "Call Me by Your
He was in
Name."
Call Me by Your
where-
Name, Bones and All, and Little Women and Beautiful Boy.
Yeah.
Her beautiful.
Pass.
Very sad movie.
Hard pass on all of it. So, but you're really looking forward to it because I understand it did like $40 million opening weekend.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I got her the cutest outfit. for Christmas.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. When she wears it, I'm just gonna be like, look at how cute this kid is. And part of it is a shirt that has the Wonka thing on it, and I'm excited.
So you going when?
We're either going on Friday because they don't have school Friday. That's their first year
that's right.
break, or we're going on Christmas Eve because we're not doing anything on Christmas Eve.
Oh, you're not doing anything at
We're
all?
making homemade Chex Mix. So that's our big plan for Christmas Eve.
Well, now you're cooking.
Proof, y'all.
Well, don't you have like 3 things on Christmas Day you have to do?
Nope, not a thing.
No.
Christmas
There you go.
Day?
Nope. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, we literally have nothing.
Well, Christmas
you're not
Day was
going to-
always like our
Yeah.
nuclear family thing. That's not happening this year. So we were doing the same. We were just going to stay at home and do whatever.
And we go to Florida the next day. So I'm like,
Yeah.
fine by me. The kids can
Exactly.
run around with their presents. We'll watch a Christmas movie.
One at a
Well,
point.
wait a second.
It'll be great.
At a point,
You
the
guys-
nuclear family becomes your new family. So it's like, you got to pass the torch at some point, right?
Yeah.
What about wait a second, Dad?
You guys used to go to like 3 different celebrations at 3 different places. You
Not
used to go to the cabin and you used to go to all these
Not on
different.
Christmas Day. We did the cabin this Saturday.
Well, you did. I did the cabin this Saturday.
We always do it the weekend before
Oh, okay.
Christmas weekend, if that makes sense. So we did the cabin, and then we do Dan's family Saturday. We always do it the day before Christmas Eve because his twin brother Mike, his wife's family lives in Illinois, and so they drive on Christmas Eve
Oh, okay.
to celebrate with her family Christmas Day, and it's a whole thing. So yeah, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day we have nothing.
So basically, you're going to celebrate it on the 26th, and Andy's going to celebrate it on the 6th.
7th, 8th, I don't know.
Well,
Whatever.
we're not
day.
celebrating- we already celebrated Christmas with you.
That's true. We did. We're going to do 2 of them. What do you think of that action?
Boy, oh
And as
boy.
I brought up to everybody on the show earlier, you were very, very glad. You should be very glad you were not here this weekend because there was a tropical storm. It was unbelievable sitting
Oh,
through that
really?
tropical storm.
Oh,
Holy
really?
God!
Yeah, I saw your casualty.
There was a
Oh, you saw the pot?
There was a pot that blew over.
Oh.
It was-
I
Oh,
know.
I'm telling you, honest to God, that pot cost your Nana plenty of money. That thing was expensive as
Was it a
hell.
new one that you just bought, or is it an old-
No, it was the big blue one. The big blue ones.
Well, pots are freaking expensive.
Yes,
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, like ever since my kids started school, I have needed my love to go somewhere. So I've bought plants, and now I put my love into the plants, and they grow and grow and grow, and then you constantly have to buy new pots, and pots are so expensive. I can't even imagine how much an outdoor like giant pot.
Mm-hmm.
$300.
They're like $300-400. Yep,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right about that.
They're so
So,
expensive.
Andy, what are you doing on? So you got Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. What do you have?
Christmas Eve is the Melissa family day.
Okay.
Because her birthday's the day before Christmas Eve, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Her birthday's Saturday.
Yeah. We got her birthday, and then we got the family Christmas, and then we got our Christmas, and then we got a week of nothing.
Yippee-ki-yo.
You're fine. So, Brittany, Tevin, what do you got? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day?
Christmas Eve, we'll go to my sister's house. And then Christmas Day, same vibes, just chilling at the house.
That's interesting.
We have the neighbors, the Goldens, and so we'll probably make food all throughout the day and just kind of go back and forth in the cul-de-sac.
Are your Golden neighbors related to Richard Golden?
I don't think so, but is Richard amazing? Because maybe then.
Oh, he's a great guy. He's one of my doctors. He's a great guy. Richard Golden's a wonderful doctor and a really good friend.
Yeah.
So find out if they're related to him, because then I'll like him more.
Well, you would love Priscilla. She
Okay.
is hilarious. Yeah.
Devin, what do you got for Christmas?
This Saturday going to my mom's. So that was that the 23rd, and then the Christmas Eve, Vikings game, Christmas Day, just chilling at the house, hanging out.
That's it. How about Kwanzaa? You going to celebrate Kwanzaa?
Yeah, no big Kwanzaa plans this year.
None?
No,
None this year?
Yeah.
When is Kwanzaa?
Couldn't tell you.
So
I think it's 26th to the 1st.
Okay. Hanukkah's
So
over.
they take up all the open space there. That's good.
Basically, yeah. They were like, there's all this real estate in December.
Hanukkah's done.
Hanukkah's done. It's over. It's absolutely true. All right. That is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We will talk to you in just a couple of minutes with the family show, and we'll talk to everybody on the morning show tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them? This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather. That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom. I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow. I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com. I just love this. As I'm ready to introduce everybody on the show, I look back and Catherine peeks in the door and walks away. What the hell is that?
I'm good.
That might be my favorite part is every day when she's trying to determine if it's still the first show or the second show. And she kind of like cautiously peeks through.
Mm-hmm. You know, you could listen on your phone.
There she is.
It's all true. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the family with
Tevin Pittman,
Alex Bernard Rasmussen,
Andy Bernard,
and Kostaki.
The great Greek.
Kostaki Economopoulos.
Oh, it's a great voice you got there. How you doing, Buster Brown?
Well, you know, Mickey Mouse is public domain now. So,
is that right?
Yeah. Well, the Steamboat Willie design in particular is now public domain. So I guess he didn't have that voice yet. So the joke doesn't work, but still.
Wow. That's fun infotainment. I like that.
Steamboat Willie is now public domain. Go ahead and
is it
Steamboat Willie?
What number of years is it, Andy? Is it 100?
It's the thing is, technically, you can keep refreshing copyright as long as like the estate that owns it wants to, but they've just let it lapse because it's like, who the hell cares? I guess.
Huh.
But let's see. When did Steamboat Willie come out? That was almost 195. It looks like. Wow. Oh wait, it's not public domain for another 2 weeks, so don't sell it yet.
Not yet.
No Kostaki branded Steamboat Willie stickers yet.
You can have them ready. You just can't sell them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't sell them quite yet.
I guess so. Okay, there are a couple of stories I want to bring up. We get a Kostaki with us, of course, ladies and gentlemen. A Pennsylvania school district orders bus drivers to remove Christmas decorations. Why?
Because they had Steamboat Willie on them, and he's not public domain yet.
That's what it is, Steamboat Willie. Shut it all down.
That's why I brought it up, of course.
I don't really understand. Why do they care? I mean, if somebody wants to come on with the bus and have the menorah up there, good for you. Whatever why would I care what you're celebrating? Good for you, right?
Well, it's like an equal opportunity kind of thing, or it's like, if we let you celebrate one, you got to let them celebrate all. So it's easier just to say no fun allowed.
So no fun allowed.
You may not be happy because then everyone has to be happy.
So because you're miserable, I can't be happy.
Pretty much, yes.
It sums up America.
There is a lot of that, yes.
It is America right now. And I just saw this headline, Kostaki, and that's why I wanted to throw it to you with this headline. I have not looked at the story. I just looked at how Christmas sucks because I don't happen to agree with it. I actually love Christmas. Don't come to my house then. And don't go to Kostaki's studio because there's a Christmas tree right next to him.
Yeah, I like Christmas.
Tree.
Yeah.
Highly offensive Greek tree. That's all I'm saying.
I was born on Christmas too, so.
You were born
really?
Christmas Day?
Oh. Christmas Day.
Yeah, my friend Joyce, who's down here right now, she was also born on Christmas Day.
It's weirdly common. I found on or like right near Christmas.
Yeah, I have a friend that's birthday is Christmas Eve.
I have 3, like Melissa and 2 of her nuclear family are born on the same week. Very strange.
My dad told the story many times. Apparently, on the day, it was a hospital in Pompano Beach, Florida. There were 3 kids born that day, 2 Greeks and a Japanese kid. And he said, the doctor said, according to my dad, the doctor was kidding with him. He said, these damn foreigners ruined my Christmas.
You damn foreigner, Kostaki. That's all I have to say to you.
They brought me home in a stocking, which my mother still has. And they put it on the mantle every year.
Very cute.
So how big were you as a baby?
I think I was pretty big. I don't remember, 8 or 9 pounds or something.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a good size.
Nothing too exciting.
Yeah, but you know.
There you have it.
I got bigger.
Nothing of note.
And
some babies are like, oh, it's 11 pounds.
I know.
And I have a tablecloth here too. I don't know if you can see. It's Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Poinsettia.
But wait. On Christmas afternoon, you flip it, and the other side, birthday.
Oh, really?
How about that? My grandmother did this when I was a boy, and so
that's cute.
After lunch on Christmas Day, it wasn't Christmas anymore; it was Kostaki's birthday, and so I would get a cake after dinner, and then get a couple gifts that were specifically birthday. It's nice.
Wow.
Tip of the cap to my mother Toots, who's no longer with us, but every year when my birthday, Thanksgiving, Christmas comes along, I thank my mother for natural childbirth. I was 21 inches tall and weighed 11 pounds when I was born.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That is a big baby.
That is a big baby.
I will say, people need to calm down about babies being too big, and it's like, wow.
Oh, really?
Sarah's almost 10 pounds.
Oh, that's true. Yep, that's
It's
very,
like literally
very
nothing.
true.
I was laughing when I was giving birth to him in a tub.
This is the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Had a great time. We were talking about the Muppet movie.
Oh, that's a good thing. So, Kostaki, before we move on, this just literally popped up on my screen just now. At 64, Clooney comes out of closet. What the hell is that?
What?
Clooney's gay?
I don't know. I can't find the story now. The headline was there. Now I can't find the story.
I saw a thing the other day that Hugh Jackman is gay. Now,
apparently is a hoax.
Oh,
An
so
old
that's a hoax,
too.
but I love how it appears on these news sites and it's a hoax.
Well, news sites don't vet their stories anymore.
No, they don't.
Guess not.
You never know what's true.
Hugh Jackman or did Grant? Who did you say?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
Because he's recently divorced, and he was hanging out with one of the Queer Eye guys or something.
Oh, then definitely.
For sure he's gay. That's the only explanation.
He has a gay friend? Of course he's gay.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever, as a population, just go, who gives a rat's ass what you do as long as you leave the kids and the dogs alone?
I mean, honestly, I think 95% of people are already there.
Yeah,
I hope so. Yeah.
The Pope says it's okay to bless gay couples now.
Yep.
Yeah, no
That
one
was today, right?
Well, I've told the Simpsons joke from the late 90s. Lisa's at a gay pride parade, and they're saying, we're here, we're queer, get used to it. And she says, we are used to it. And he goes, spoil sport.
See, that's brilliant writing right there.
Yes.
Yeah, that
That's
was over
brilliant
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
You know what's amazing about that too, and I was thinking about it just came up because, I mean, to my knowledge, and I've been around in my whole life, there was nobody gay in my family or my mother and father's family or all the rest of it. But we never who ever cared about that? You do what you do. Good. Like I said, leave the kids and the dogs alone. We're good. And that goes for straight and gay people. What do you think of that?
I just
I really
Sign
think
me up.
most people don't care.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Why
And
would I care?
I think the more we pay attention to people that are screaming and yelling about stuff that nobody cares about, that we're just never going to get past it.
So, Andy, what did Clooney come out as if it wasn't a sexual deal?
It didn't come out as anything. It's just completely made up.
Yeah, it looks like 2012. People have been thinking he's secretly gay.
Oh, really?
I think with celebrities, it's more of a we see you trying to hide it thing
Mhm.
rather than the fact that you may or may not be.
Oh, I suppose. That was in the national news. It wasn't the local news. It was in the national news, but I didn't click on it, so maybe I should have.
Do you want to hear a funny story about instant karma? Not to change the subject, but
You want to hear a funny joke about football before Kostaki has to leave?
Yeah.
Oh, there
I
you
thought
go.
Maybe I came in late. I didn't know if you already did your spiel or not. So
Spiel. You got a spiel.
I'll take
All right, let's
spiel.
get it over with. Jeez.
Better than shtick. No, I want to hear the instant karma. What was that?
I guess there were 3 or 4 armed robbers that went into an establishment in Commerce City, Colorado, which I've never heard of before. And when they came out, their getaway car had already been stolen by somebody else.
Wow.
I love that.
Isn't that the greatest? I love that.
They stole their getaway car.
Hey, wait a minute. Where'd it go?
It's like something you'd see in a parody of the Batman comic.
Yes, exactly.
That was a Dave Breitner story for me, so I'm glad you liked it.
So, Kostaki, what's the latest with you?
Well, I think we can all agree that the Falcons-Panthers game lived up to the hype, huh? Everyone was looking forward to that.
Yeah.
It rained the whole time. The final was 9-7, and tickets to the game were famously 45 cents. Did you see this?
What? No.
Yeah.
Well, there's a photo circulating where there's like 10 people in the crowd 10 minutes before the game.
Oh.
Yeah, it rained the whole time. They knew it was going to rain.
Oh.
Both the teams are terrible.
Oh no,
45 cents. And if you paid that, you got robbed. That's the sad part.
Yes, probably true.
If the Panthers beat the Falcons, but nobody is there to see it, is it still a loss? I think that still is.
I like it.
The Panthers were 1-12. They had fewer wins than my kids have Christmases. That's the team we lost to. The weather was bad, and by weather I mean coaching.
Okay.
Instead of the brotherly shove, the Falcons use the get knocked backwards. That's their play. It's very
sure. The Vikings used that this weekend too.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
The Falcons have a lot of weapons that look good in space. Sorry, that look good from space. I think that's what I meant.
I like it.
The Falcons find more way to lose than Bubba Gump has ways to make shrimp.
There's a new reference.
Shrimp kebab, shrimp etouffee, red zone interception, safety, bad clock management, fumble on your own one. My team sucks. The Raiders scored 63 points, and the Panthers said, in one season?
That's very good. Did you write that one yourself?
Yes.
That was very good. I like that.
Chargers fired their coach and the general manager. You can't fire enough people to make up for how disappointing the Chargers are.
Yeah, I suppose.
Justin Herbert is out with finger surgery. I'm just guessing here. He was pointing too hard at the people who needed to get fired. So
broke his finger.
Yeah. The Giants lost, but there's still all this buzz about Tommy DeVito. It's a fun story. Italians haven't been this excited since Costco started selling cologne.
Did you write that joke?
I like that one.
Well, you're on fire today, man. I love it.
DeVito is a backup. So technically, he's an Italian sub. Right?
Oh, see?
He's
delicious.
And now he's an Italian hero. He lives at home with his parents. When he scores, instead of taking it to the house, does he take it to mom's house?
Yes.
I think Tony Soprano's house is available, if I understood the ending of the show.
Probably.
When DeVito gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, they should count it as a whack. That should be the new stat.
I like whack.
He knows how to win. And where Jimmy Hoffa's buried. He's Italian. See, he's
because of the
in his family. Tape study is rewatching the Godfather films,
which I do constantly.
Yeah, those are good movies. He played 45% of the snaps from the gun, but nobody saw nothing.
Because of his Italian heritage? Is that what you're saying? Now,
Yes.
who's the guy? Who's his agent again?
The agent's great. Sean something.
He dresses up like he's in the mafia.
Yeah, he's a character, man.
He sure is. I don't know,
They
it's
should rename
entertaining.
the area inside the 20 to the Cal Zone.
Oh, the Cal Zone. I like it.
Quarterback needs to have a short memory, and Tommy DeVito knows how to forget about it. See, that's helpful. All right. Italian jokes.
Yeah, I love him. I love him.
Sean Stellato is the guy's name.
Sean Castellano?
Stellato.
Stellato. That's a great name.
Yeah, it
Stiletto,
is.
stiletto.
Yeah, stiletto, gelato, you know, all the
All the good stuff.
plenty of puns here.
All the good things.
All right, two more jokes. The NFL is going to play its first ever game next year in Brazil. Well, I can't wait to see how they trim the grass.
Ooh.
Huh? Brazilian, everybody.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, that kind of
Oh,
grass.
Brazilian like wax. Yeah.
He goes Brazilian, everybody.
Trimming
on.
the grass.
Yeah.
It'd be
That's a good joke.
waxing the
I was
grass.
still thinking about gelato.
Yes.
Gelato.
And finally, Teddy Bridgewater said he's retiring. Could be the last chance to do this joke. Teddy Bridgewater would have been a great nickname for Ted Kennedy.
Ooh. No doubt about it.
Yes, it would have.
Nantucket. Other than that,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was it, right? Or was it Martha's Vineyard? No, it was Nantucket, right? He was out in that
I don't know.
direction.
One of those. That area. That universe.
See. Chappaquiddick.
Chappaquiddick.
Yes.
Yeah, that isn't that right by Martha's Vineyard?
That's a good question.
I think it
I'm
is.
curious too.
Where the hell is
I don't
Chappaquiddick?
have a bomb of money. I can't live up there.
Yeah, you got that right. A lot of that action.
It's part of Edgartown. Yes, small island off the eastern end of Martha's Vineyard.
There you go. That's what I thought.
Oh, that's right. We saw the there was a bridge to go over there. Yeah.
And that's the one that he crashed the car off of,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were just talking about Ted Kennedy yesterday because there's a place down in Florida called, what's it called again? The Palm Beach Grill.
Yeah.
It was called O Bar when Ted Kennedy was in there, and the place is still open with a different name. But he decided to take off. He stood up in the restaurant after a few drinks, I'm sure, and took his pants off in the restaurant.
Yeah, he dropped trow.
As a United States senator, maybe running for president, and he decides to drop trow at a restaurant.
He must have had a reason.
Ought to be a Kennedy.
Right.
Plenty of
Never know
valid
what it
reasons,
could
I'm
be.
sure. I just can't think of any right
Fun
now.
life for a while, being a Kennedy, I bet.
They
Oh.
they have a long history of misbehaving on Palm Beach Island.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
They literally got kicked off the island. They kicked the family off the island, said, you guys can't live here anymore. It's pretty powerful,
Because
man.
the drinking escapades.
Well, I'm pretty sure. And two of them committed suicide on Palm Beach Island, too. Was
Oh,
it David? David Kennedy was one of them. A couple of them killed themselves. So we've
Wow.
had enough of the Kennedys. Move on. Go away.
now David Kennedy did die in Palm Beach,
He
but
did,
was
yeah.
it a suicide?
He shot himself, if I remember correctly.
But Epstein was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Epstein,
Well,
yeah, he was.
They didn't kick him off.
God, that guy. What else you got, Kostaki?
That's it. I'm getting ready for Christmas and going to Atlanta for a few days to visit Grandma and
that'll be
tell some
nice.
jokes. The Atlanta Punchline. That'll be fun.
What's the name of the bar? Ike's. That's up in. Isn't there an old bar? It's been there like 120 years. I think I thought it was called Ike's. But maybe I'm
Bikes
wrong.
in Atlanta? I don't know.
It's right
I-
by
you
the.
know, I never had an adult life in Atlanta. I lived there when I was a
Oh,
kid
that's
and then
true.
moved away. So I didn't
yeah.
really run around, and I didn't do much of the bar scene.
No, I can
missed
understand
that
that.
phase.
Good. It's probably good.
I could understand that. All right, Pally. Well, we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. I guess it's going to be more. It's going to be 3 weeks because Christmas Monday and New Year's Monday.
Yeah, I texted around with Andy, so I'm on it. I got the schedule sorted. So happy holidays, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. Thank you for having a Christmas tree.
Oh yeah,
I love seeing the Christmas.
I didn't know Greek Orthodox did Christmas trees.
Oh
It's
yeah,
very interesting.
absolutely. They're like Catholics. They're just
They
a
are.
Greek
They're
version of
basically
Catholics.
Yep,
Yeah.
basically the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, pal. We'll have a magnificent holiday season.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Take it easy, guys. Cheers.
Merry Christmas.
Kostaki Economopoulos. Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas to you, Kostaki. One of the nicest guys. I love working with Kostaki. He's always been a great guy.
He's been on the show regularly for almost since the very beginning.
Almost 12 years, yeah. He's just a very, very nice guy. No question. So what else is in the news? Anything we should know about?
A listener named Stacy says Wonka is great and Timothy was perfect for the role.
Yeah, I feel like he'll be good in it.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Listener feedback about that.
Wonka?
I'm
Wonka's
excited.
the big
Yeah, we were
movie
talking
out
about
right
Wonka.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's a big movie out right now, isn't it, in the theaters?
Yeah. It came out like Thursday or something like that.
Has it only been done once or twice?
This is a prequel to. This is like
'cause
how
Charlie and
Willy
the
Wonka became
Yeah.
Willy Wonka.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory's been done at least 3 times now.
Well, this is the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder,
Mhm.
and then
Then there was Johnny Depp
Johnny
one.
Depp, and that was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I think.
So Charlie was in it?
It was the same movie, but for some reason they called it Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I think.
Oh. Well, that's what people like. If you
Yes.
asked people what it was called, they'd probably
They'd
say it's
Willy
called Willy Wonka or
because
something.
the book was called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Right.
And so that's why the first movie was called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
But it's like, honestly, who gives a crap about Charlie? Willy Wonka's the.
Is this Disney? Is it a Disney thing or is it somebody else?
Is it? I wonder.
I'm not sure.
Let's see here. Warner Brothers, which
They
makes
need-
sense.
They need a hit, I think.
Disney is, it's been rough for them.
Well, they've made some really horrible calls, which I'm shocked because when I worked with the CEO, whatever you needed, you got. He was a very pleasant guy, didn't try to shove his thoughts down your throat. He's nothing like that anymore. What happened?
30 years of time.
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
I think once you got like a couple of billion, you just get insulated from the real world and you just travel in circles that,
Yeah.
it's like we know how to do everything
Mhm.
and everybody has to listen to us.
No question.
Yeah.
So what is happening? Anything good? I closed my computer. I didn't want to look at the headlines anymore because there's not a whole lot of positive headlines this morning.
Oh, we actually got it backwards. The 1971 movie is called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
the
and
new
then
one is
the new
called
one was
Charlie and the
Chocolate
Chocolate Factory.
Okay.
Interesting.
Was the book called Charlie and the,
The book
Chocolate?
was
Yes,
called
I was
Charlie
like,
and the Chocolate
No, I'm pretty sure the book was called, and then one
So that's why everyone gets it wrong. It's because the movie got it wrong.
because they changed it.
They changed it for the Gene Wilder one. Huh.
Okay.
Well, there you. But this is the third movie based on that book. Well, I guess it's not really based on the book, but you know what I mean.
Disney, and who's going to be Willy Wonka?
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. It's out already. It came out 3 days ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, so it came out on Friday. It didn't come out Thursday. It came out Friday.
Apparently, well, it came out on the 8th in the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
15th in the US. But it's like these days, what does a regional release even mean anymore? Everyone
Yeah.
just watches everything online or whatever.
Right.
But this is a theater release, isn't it?
Yes, it is in theaters.
Yeah.
But again,
Really
it's, I mean, is it streaming anywhere though? Because if it is, that's where everyone's going to watch it.
I don't know if it is because the movie did like $40 million opening weekend, which is pretty damn good.
It has made 151 so far.
151 million?
Yep.
Holy Hannah. It's only been out for 4 days?
Yeah, doing pretty well.
Good God. This is worldwide you're talking about?
Yes, I
Well,
believe
maybe it's
so.
one of those movies that it's nice to see on a big screen too.
It's only in theaters.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
they're not streaming it yet. Or maybe ever.
They probably, I mean,
I'm
they
sure
will.
they
When it's out of
30 to
theaters.
45 days is
But I-
usually when they start.
And that's the type of movie that I think people are going to want to see in theaters because there's a lot of the
A lot of wonderment.
The Oompa Loompas are. It's like
Yeah.
Hugh, one of the Hughs.
Grant.
Gerant, yes, is like the original Oompa Loompa that I think he catches.
Right.
But he's like the size of a water bottle. Like he's
Mhm.
that small. It's not.
Mhm.
They don't have little people playing Oompa Loompas, which, of course, they don't.
Yeah, of course
That
not.
would be not PC.
And you're going when with the kids?
Either Friday or Sunday. We'll see where the day takes us.
Oh, here we go.
Now, well, Friday, I'm not like Dan's like, I'm working, but I'm kind of not really working because there's a lot of people that are already taking the day off, but I don't want to take PTO to like not really have to work that much anyway. So I don't know. We'll just see. And I'm taking the kids to get pedicures on Friday.
Pedicures?
I always take them to get pedicures before we go to Florida.
Huh?
Why?
Because it's like their feet are out and it's fun to have colorful feet.
Oh, yeah, because they're going to be wearing sandals for,
No socks for a week.
That's true.
Might as well have fun toes.
I
And
suppose that is true.
I mean, they act like they are royalty
Very
after
fancy,
they
yep.
get a pedicure. Like it's so funny. There's a place in the Mall of America that does specifically kids pedicures and manicures, and they have like these big fancy chairs, and it's this whole extreme experience because I take them to just like a place that they just sit in an adult chair and they just paint their toenails and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how would they act if they went to that super fancy place? I don't think they'd ever.
Yeah, because I've actually seen some salons that have kid chairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a miniature pedicure chair.
Yeah, I just take them to the regular thing and pay like $8 for them to paint their toenails. It's nothing fancy, but they act like they are superior to everyone else when it's done. And I'm fond is now having a friend sleep over on Thursday after dance, and so I think I'm going to bring her with us because I'm like, the parents are working.
In the morning when she calls me, is she stealing your phone, or do you have knowledge that she's calling me?
I don't have knowledge, but I don't care. Like I've told her that she has the password to my phone. I've told her that she can FaceTime you whenever, as long as she has done her homework and all of that stuff and done her checklist of the day. And
because last time she called me, it was in the morning a couple of days ago, and she's like, "Hi, Nana." And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I was just clearing out some emails." She said, "Yeah, I've got to clear out my emails too. I get
all of her emails that she gets."
And I said, "Oh, who do you get emails from?" She's like, "All my friends." I'm like, okay. And then she, I don't know, she talked about something else for a little while. And then all of a sudden she said, "Well, I've got to go because I've got another friend I've got to talk to." I'm like, whoa, who is 7 going on 14?
Yeah, she has a friend that they video chat each other like 2 times a day. Like they chat each other in the morning and then in the afternoon after school, but I don't let her talk to her until she's done with her whole checklist and her homework. And it's a whole thing, and they just they act like they're at the end of the conversation like, "Bye, love you," and then hang up.
Oh, look how sweet.
I know, it's really, really cute. And they'll plan like coordinating outfits for the day and like, what are you going to wear to dance? What color top should we wear? And it's very sweet.
I started talking to Max on the phone all the time when I was like, 8 or 9?
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty young when I started doing that.
Yeah, they don't talk for a super long time.
Yeah. We would just sit there on the phone playing, like I'd be playing one game and he'd be playing another. Mostly in silence, and every so often we would just comment on.
Well, and that's Dan the other day. I was working out and he walked downstairs and he's like, "Fawn's talking to Dottie on they're video chatting, but they're not even talking to each other. They're both doing their separate things." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever.
Why not?
She's doesn't have anything she needs to be doing, so I don't care."
Well, it's like when you have a friend over, but you don't want to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, one of you is on your phone and the other's playing PlayStation or whatever. It's, why not?
I know. I'm like,
you're hanging out.
I don't know. For some reason, they want to be involved in what's going on with the other one.
Because Sage called Andy not too long ago.
Yes, he did.
I know, because he was like, "Well, Fawn gets to talk to Dottie all the time, and I don't get to talk to anybody." And I'm like, "Well, you can't. Who are you gonna call?"
The answer was Ethan.
No, and I was like, you could call Uncle Andy because it's specifically on Google Meet because they have they like those filters.
Yeah, the
filters.
Yeah, Sage likes the filters.
Because he was like, "I don't want to call anybody on just the phone, regular FaceTime." He's like, "I want to do what the fun face is." And I was like, "Well, Andy has that." And he's like, "Let's call Andy."
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Let's call Andy.
Out of nowhere, I get a video call and Sage's face is on there, and I'm like, okay.
I was like, "You could try. He might not answer, but I know he has Google Meet."
Yeah, and then all he does is play with the filters.
Yes.
Yep. He just spent the entire time showing, but it was fun because he would put on a Christmas themed filter, and Ethan would point at Sage and say Santa, or
yes,
Ethan
I know.
Or Sage would become a cat, and Ethan would go kitty.
And that's what I thought. I was like, I think Ethan is the perfect audience for Sage changing filters every 5 seconds.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a great setup.
Yeah. On Meet, there's also a drawing
Yes.
So
Yeah, he did that a little bit.
Yeah, Sage likes to talk to me, and he likes me to draw something, and then he tries to copy it. That takes up a great deal of time.
It does. And you don't listen to when I tell him he needs to go to bed. I'll be like, last drawing, Nana.
Yeah.
He has to go to bed, and then they'll do 2 more. And I'm like, Mom,
No. He erased it because it wasn't a very good Christmas
wasn't
tree.
good enough.
no, because you drew it. You drew a tiger, and then you did. And I was like, when the tiger is done, it is time for him to go to bed. And then you did a shark, and then you did a house.
Oh,
well,
sorry.
Too much.
Sounds like my grandma when I was growing up.
Like,
my mom
I don't
was
care
like,
what you just said.
You know what? I think this is the last thing of Pringles that the
Last
kids can
candy,
eat.
yeah,
Whatever.
exactly.
She's like,
3 more in a
No,
mouthful.
it's not.
Yeah,
It's never the last
that's
candy
a grandma's job. And normally, I'm like, if it were if it were Friday or Saturday, I'd be like, whatever, I don't care. But it was a school night, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mom.
All right.
Fine. All right, we've run across a situation. It's just a week before Christmas, and I don't know what's going on, but Maya Bialik got fired because she was too outspoken about her support of the Jews, so they fired her.
Well, she is Jewish, so.
Well, I know, but I mean, why did they really fire her?
I think that's why.
Because she supported her own people?
Well, I
Be a
can't
little
remember
weird.
any Jeopardy host actually having any opinions on.
That's what I said. I said
that's
Jeopardy
true,
hosts are supposed to be bland and inoffensive and just host the show.
Alex Trebek.
Keep it to yourself.
Like the only opinion I ever remember Alex Trebek having is being like anti-cancer.
Yeah.
So,
What a weirdo. Yeah,
A tough road to hoe.
there's exactly one thing I remember Alex Trebek doing that was like, it wasn't even like a scandal. It was like, a Freudian slip more than anything. So it was like, this capital city, something, something, something. And this contestant who was of Indian descent got it wrong. And Alex Trebek he goes, wait, what's the name of the city? Name a city in India? I can't think of any right now.
Nepal.
Delhi.
Delhi,
New
yeah,
Delhi.
sure. The answer was, so he goes, New Delhi. Oh, hurts to miss that one, doesn't it?
you should be ashamed. Of
Yeah, it'd be
yourself.
like a German guy getting Berlin wrong and be like, come on, you're German. You know this, right?
Yeah, very true.
Like,
Yeah,
okay, I have
so
to go. Sorry.
Oh,
you got to go? All right, Alex, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Toodaloo.
Just one more drawing. No.
Okay.
One more drawing. One more drawing. Okay, yeah. So Maya Bialik got fired for supporting the Jews. Apparently, that's what people are claiming anyway. The statue of the Confederate soldiers being taken out of the United States cemetery in Washington, D.C.
Well, that was it's not actually a statue of the Confederate soldiers, right? Wasn't it the statue that was supposed to be like, yay, we're coming together?
yeah, that's the idea. Yeah,
That's
but
the whole idea.
there were some Confederate soldiers and some Union soldiers carved into the base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was
about coming
commissioned
together.
by the Daughters of the Confederacy, and it said like, our brave soldiers are buried here or whatever, that sort of thing.
But they were all trying to come together, right? Because the war was over, the Civil War was over, so they were all trying to come together. Isn't that kind of the scene?
That's why it was
point
in,
of-
because it was in Arlington, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I believe
the
so.
the Union government, arguably, was the one who would have allowed that to be put there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
Yes.
if these people who had just gotten done killing each other could be like, sure, we can have your monument here.
Right.
Then why, like, they could get over it, but you can't? It's just so strange.
They just don't want anything to do with any of the Confederate soldier at all.
No, they
Right.
don't.
The 3 beat to that, so that's the first two, Maya Bialik and the Confederate soldier. Number 3 is the wax figure of actor Gerard Depardieu has been removed from Paris's most famous wax museum following negative reactions from visitors over allegations about his conduct with women. Did you know about this?
No.
I never knew Gerard Depardieu got nasty with women. I never knew that.
Is he still alive? How old is he?
Is he still
I don't even know
alive?
who
He's that
that
kind of
is.
homely guy, right?
Yeah, he's not a good-looking guy.
He is 74 years old and appears to be alive.
And now all of a sudden he's okay.
The decision to remove the figure from the Grand Museum, the so-called pantheon of wax celebrities, followed a recent report on the actor on French television that has dented his reputation in France and around the world. The France 2 documentary showed him repeatedly making obscene remarks and gestures during a 2018 trip to North Korea. Depardieu has also been under investigation for rape since 2020. He denies all the charges. Depardieu, 74, has starred in hundreds of movies over more than half a century, including French classics like The Last Metro, Jean de Florette, Cyrano de Bergerac, and English language movies including Green Card and The Life of Pi. So they're saying that he did this stuff, and they're kicking him out of the museum.
Well,
He looks
was
like
convicted of it, or are
Not
these
yet.
allegations, or
just allegations apparently.
There are allegations at this point, but they kicked him out anyway. So
He looks
I don't
like
know if he did it. Or not.
Robert De Niro and Chris Farley got in a particle accelerator.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what he looks like. Good call, Andy. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if he did these things, yes, he shouldn't be honored, but don't they have to prove he did these things first?
No, apparently they don't.
I think maybe put the energy into convicting him.
Yeah.
Or taking the statue down.
Well, but it's like if you're the curator of a wax museum and you want to, let everyone know what a good person you are. This is the power that you have. I'm going to remove this figure.
Yeah. And even if they don't want to remove it, it's whether it's right or not, the public coming in and causing a scene and making that point is a worse look for your business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people might have gone in there and started vandalizing it and that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. Might have just not been worth having it on there anymore.
Just melting
over time. It's like a hair dryer. They're just sitting there for like half an hour. You'll be dead soon.
everyone's got a Bic lighter out?
Yeah, his face.
Yeah, I have to ask you guys a question because I don't know what this is all about. Apple to halt watch sales as it prepares to comply with U.S. import ban. What is that all about?
I would guess there's probably some child labor laws or something.
No, child labor laws. Get real.
Well, that people found out about.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. They actually found out about them.
Apparently it's an ITC ban. No, I don't know what ITC is.
Ban stems from a federal trade ruling over a blood oxygen sensor on some versions.
There's an SpO2 sensor, which is blood oxygen, that is in a patent dispute. So they're not allowed to sell it here until the patent dispute is settled.
I see.
Yeah, and there was some sort of scandal. I think it was the UK was upset about Apple Watches because they were sending people's health information to somebody that they shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah, don't be doing that.
Yeah.
Don't be. Now, the most important thing in the Wall Street Journal this morning is this headline: Fat Leonard gets last laugh in Navy corruption trial. The guy's name is Fat Leonard.
See, like the cousin of Fat Albert.
That's what I'm guessing.
Grandson of Fatty Arbuckle.
Fatty Arbuckle. Yep, no question about it. Yeah, some of the I don't understand what the Navy corruption trial.
I don't know.
Anybody know what that was about?
I don't know.
Nope.
So much corruption. Can't keep up with it all.
There's
I guess so. I guess that's what it is. Nippon Steel. Nippon Steel is a Japanese company, I'm assuming, from Nippon Steel.
Means Japan.
It means Japan. Nippon Steel is going to acquire U.S. Steel for $14.1 billion. It's a lot of money, but is this a good idea?
Yeah, wait a minute. Japan is buying U.S. steel, so wouldn't be U.S. Steel anymore now, would it?
No, not going to be U.S. Steel anymore. Do we even make steel anymore in this country? I don't even know if we do.
We make U.S. steel, apparently.
Yeah.
What's Japan going to do with it?
That's a great question.
I got the feeling
Isn't that mostly like ships and things that you need all that steel for? I don't know.
I get the feeling, seriously, that I don't think U.S. Steel has made steel in America for quite some time. Have they? You got that information, Andy?
I think they do.
Pittsburgh, isn't that supposedly a big?
Used to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
because so many of them went under.
Minnesota used to be a big like iron exporter. I mean, they still do export iron, but it used to be a lot bigger.
Yeah. It was taconite up north, right?
Taconite,
they used it for it,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
Or I don't know.
But that's a little troubling, isn't it? That we're selling U.S. Steel to Japan. Why do we want to do that? I mean, I know why they would for $14.1 billion, but is this a good plan?
I don't know.
Apparently, Nippon Steel said that it's going to expand its footprint in the U.S.
Oh, well,
and grow it domestically.
Okay. Well, that's much better news than I was I guess kind of trying to steer away from.
What does a Japanese? Why can a Japanese country expand it, but U.S. Steel couldn't do that on their own?
I don't know.
Okay. Probably just money, cash infusions, or something.
Or willingness. I mean, I don't know. Not a lot of manufacturing in America has shown a willingness to expand lately.
Yeah, I certainly hope that we start doing something about our pharmaceuticals, that we start making our own. I mean, if you go up on the East Coast, there are so many gigantic pharmaceutical companies. They're all over the place. Why aren't they manufacturing that stuff here?
I don't know. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to manufacture it overseas. That's why.
Well, they should just, I mean, at the price that we're paying, how can it be cheaper? Somebody's making a big old markup.
The reason we're paying these prices is because we pay for about half of the entire world's medical R&D, research and development.
Yep.
Right.
Almost half of all innovations in the medical industry in the entire world come from us. And those innovations are very, very expensive. So we're paying for it and basically subsidizing the rest of the world's medicine.
Well, that's what I say. That is not fair. If you want the medicine, then you have to pay the same price as everybody else.
I would argue that should be how it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but it's also a patent thing. It's like they'll come out with a new medicine here and they'll patent it so they can charge whatever they want. But in other countries, they can't patent it. So anyone can make it. And so there's more competition. So it drives the price down. A lot of it is like that whole insulin scandal thing.
Yeah.
It's because for some reason, only one company was producing this insulin. So it's like whatever they charge it, that's what you're paying or else you die. Monopoly, basically.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me that if you got the patent in the United States and you're shipping it overseas to have it be made, then the patent shouldn't be valid anymore.
Well, no, that's why. But what's happening is overseas people can produce it themselves.
Yeah, but I'm just saying pharmaceutical companies that are having everything made someplace else, they should lose their patent on it if it goes across the ocean to be made.
Yeah, and I think it does. It's expensive here because the patent is valid here.
Yeah, there you go. I have a headline here I want to try to figure out. Musk's X, now X used to be Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Musk's X faces probe in Europe over handling of illegal content and disinformation. Do you know anything about that?
They're trying to bring him down.
They sure are, aren't they?
Everybody is after him.
They're going after him big time. A move comes amid heightened scrutiny over how social media companies are dealing with content related to the conflict in Israel and Gaza. So is that really what this is about?
Yeah, well, I think it's anytime there's a huge scandal or war or any conflict like that there's so much information that comes out and people will just, fly off the handle and take a 1-minute video or something and say, this is how it is. And trying to combat that, I don't know how because essentially you'd have to have somebody in charge of telling everybody what's true and what's not. And could you imagine the ego that would come across with that job and all the scandal of one person saying, well, actually, this is what's true. And
yeah, no, you couldn't do that.
But the thing is that they go after him, then they need to go after all the people that are constantly telling half truths and complete propaganda.
Yeah.
I mean, so many of them they've just gone and they've listened to some propaganda and then all of a sudden it's the truth. And that's news anchors.
Yeah.
So if they're going to go after him, then they need to go after everybody, in my opinion.
If there was a law that was like, if something you reported on the news is later found to be false, whether you knew it or not, you're getting fined a ton of money.
I agree. They need to do that, Andy. You're 100% right, because the lying that goes on all of those stations, those national stations, it's insane.
Yeah, and the retractions in the newspaper are buried.
They mean nothing.
Nobody even sees the retraction. That needs to be like the front page. Is what we've got wrong.
Well, but even then, like a retraction doesn't undo the damage of all the people who saw this original story and still believe it, which is going to be most of them. And that's why they need to be like forced into vetting their own information. They won't do it unless they're forced to.
Do you think people, if the information was out there without them having to look for it for 8 months, that when people hear a story like this, the real story could be out there, why this is happening, what's going on, why are they doing it, why are they pissed off at Elon Musk? I mean, is there anybody that would tell the truth, or is there no money in telling the truth?
No, there's not.
No.
Look at the journalists that there was a journalist for CNN that was in Palestine and reporting he was lying about a whole bunch of stories because he was an operative.
Yep. Where is he working?
He was working for CNN.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me in the least.
They ended up having to fire him and eating crow over that. But I mean,
but there's a million more
they
waiting to
vet
take
their own
place.
journalists.
Yep.
Usually the truth doesn't make you money until it's so far after the fact that you make a documentary about what really happened.
Right.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
time the truth really makes anybody money.
Right.
God, that's so amazing. This is going on. Elon Musk's social media platform X will face a formal probe in Europe over its handling of illegal content and disinformation. Now, again, who's judging what's illegal in disinformation?
Yeah, that's why disinformation laws are extremely dangerous.
They
because
really
whoever's got their hand on the lever gets to decide what
Yeah.
is and is not disinformation.
Right. And then to prove it, you have to prove that, whatever, if it's a political party, you have to prove that they knew that they were spreading wrong information
Yep.
in order
Mm-hmm.
to benefit
They're
themselves.
never going to admit to.
No. And it's not provable 99% of the time.
Right.
Yeah, you can never prove that. I imagine that's probably true. How are you going to prove it?
You can't.
The European Commission, the bloc's executive arm, said Monday it opened a formal infringement proceeding against X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, under the Digital Services Act. The EU legislation, which took effect earlier this year, requires some of the world's biggest online platforms to take steps to address illegal content. Now, they keep talking about illegal content, but they don't give an example.
Well, that's also scary.
So what would the illegal content be? Because it can't be lying, because they all lie.
Well,
I think it is lying, or
Yeah.
what they claim to be lying.
Right.
Well, I know that the U.S. is trying desperately to pass laws, and I think that they actually did some where they can monitor people, and they want to be able to tell you what's right. Which in this divided country, there's no way you should allow one party to say, "Oh, this is the truth."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that guy's lying, because 99% of the time they're all lying.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. The illegal content offers users a way to register complaints about the platform's moderation decisions, among other rules. A post on X by one of the company's official accountants said that it remains committed to complying with the EU's Digital Services Act and is cooperating with regulatory process. It is important that this process remains free of political influence. That's impossible.
Nope. It's designed to not be possible, because now they get to come in and say, "Oh, well, we own it now because you broke the law, and it is now our propaganda platform."
Yeah, this whole idea is impossible. What they're trying to do is impossible. You cannot do it. Correct?
Right.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's impossible by design.
Yep.
Monday's announcement marks the first launch of formal proceedings under the bloc's new online content law. The move comes amid heightened scrutiny over how social media companies are dealing with graphic, sometimes manipulated content related to the conflict in Israel and Gaza. That's all there is content that if you want to find out what you believe, you can find out what you believe is true.
Right.
If that's all you're looking for, you're going to go, "Well, see, I was right." No, not necessarily. They're just trying to reel you in. That's all it is.
I think if they were trying to really stop the de-information or false information from going around, they should start with a way of how to get it where you can only have one account. So like right now, I create 10 different accounts without that being attached to my name and just say whatever I want with no real if you had to have people do some sort of verification where now everybody knows that this is Tevin or this is Tom or this is whoever, you're going to kind of pull back on some of the outlandish things because people will now be able to know that that is you rather than just hiding behind it.
Well, that's what the blue check was in the very, very beginning.
Right.
The blue check, it was verify that you are you. But it very quickly became much less than that.
Yeah, it was like essentially only celebrities could get them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The original idea was like, okay, if I make an account and I send like my ID to Twitter and I'm like, look, I'm clearly me, they'll give me a blue check. And that blue check says that this account that claims to be me is in fact me. It's been verified.
Right.
But over time, it became like
How many followers you had and things.
people would lose their checks for like saying things that Twitter didn't agree with.
Oh, nice.
They would lose their status as verified as themselves, which doesn't. And as soon as they started, it stopped making it. Clearly became like a badge of favoritism, and then Elon made it even less valuable. And I think he did it on purpose by just saying, "Give me $6, you got your blue check."
Well, that was because people wanted to support what he was doing.
Right.
Yeah, that's why people pay.
Yeah, but like the blue check is supposed to be a verified mark.
But
You
that's
shouldn't
not
be
what
able
it
to
is
just
anymore.
buy it.
No.
It should have been like a new one. It should have been like, you can have like a little coin next to your name.
Well, would you have to prove you're famous enough for people to even care if you got a blue check?
So I had a friend that he would try to get people verified on Instagram and Twitter. And it was like, you have to supply two articles that have been written about you that are on, public domain website type of things. And then like, it's more about your celebrity status and your following than it is about who you are as a person. Like, it'll be like, did somebody write an article about you? Okay, cool. We'll give you a check mark because you're famous enough.
Right.
There you have it. We got 1 minute left. Any closing arguments about anything?
You were right, Tom. I should have listened to you sooner. I watched John Wick over the weekend for the first time.
The first one?
Yeah, I started with the first one.
Good.
It's amazing that this guy did all of this over a dog in his car. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, number 2 and 3 are okay. 2's good, 3's okay, 4 is too long. I can't watch it. It's too long.
Oh, you never even tried, did you?
No.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 hours long or something.
Tim Lammers
3
liked
hours.
it. I think he said it was really good.
Yeah. Well, now we got Tevin reeled in. We'll have to just hand the ball off to him, and he can do all 4. That'll be perfect. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Every time I hear the same, reminds me how you talking.